Chapter 2551. This. I'm not too sure, it was arranged by Mr. Lai. Kang stuttered. Fatty Lai? Lin Yi was curious. Fatty Lai didn't seem like the type to abuse his power for personal gain. Even if she was his relative, he didn't have to do this, did he? Shaking his head, he said, forget it. Tell Fatty Lai that even if she's a backdoor entrant, put her in a department without a job. This company doesn't need her alone, but forget about the secretary. She's not a secretary, she's more like a manager. This. I'll tell him. Kang smiled bitterly and nodded. Lin Yi didn't dwell on this issue. Since this woman wasn't Kang's lover, it didn't matter. Lin Yi didn't bother with her. The company was so big that it was inevitable to have connections. Fatty Lai wasn't a saint, he couldn't just ignore his friends and family. Lin Yi understood. Let's not talk about this. If there's a chance in the future, let's go to Donghai and have a meal together. Lin Yi said. Yeah, I want to go too, but the company's business is expanding rapidly these days. I don't have any time at all. Kang smiled bitterly. But it'll get better after a while. The phone on Kang's desk rang as they were conversing. Kang picked it up and said a few words before turning to Lin Yi apologetically. I'm sorry, boss, something came up again. There's a client here, inviting me over for tea. Haha, go ahead. You're also working for me, why would I mind? Lin Yi smiled. I don't have anything to do, I just came to see you on the way. Alright, I'll go to Donghai when I'm done here, boss. Kang nodded. Lin Yi and Kang left the company together and separated at the parking lot. Lin Yi looked at the time. There was still some time before school ended, so he drove back to his villa. It had been a while since he went back, and Lin Yi wanted to clean up a bit. It was almost winter break, and Meng Yaro and Yu Shu would probably go back to Songshan. After all, they'd lived here for more than 10 years, and a change of environment wasn't something they could adapt to so quickly. In a high-class room in Songshan's Starlight Hotel sat the hidden Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao. Brother, did you see it clearly? That girl beside Ziyu, she's a good furnace. Zhuang Niaopao's eyes flashed with shock and greed. That's right, it's definitely true. Niaoqiang nodded. I didn't think that we'd get such an unexpected reward this time. The two brothers came to Songshan this time because of House Chen's invitation. Chen Xiaoba had his eyes on Ziyu and wanted to take her back as his wife, but Sihua was controlling him. Xiaoba wasn't satisfied with that, so he called the two brothers from the hidden Zhuang house over to take care of things. No matter how strong lead Sihua was, he was just a dog of House Zhao. The Zhuang brothers were different, however. They had the lowest salary in House Zhuang, second only to the big brother, Zhuang Niaodao. Plus, Zhuang Niaodao was the future head of the house in name, in charge of everything in House Zhuang. To put it bluntly, Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao were more important to the hidden house. Zhuang Niaodao wasn't suited for practicing, so he gave it up and went to Donghai Engineering University to study business management. It was actually managing the house as well. Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao, on the other hand, trained in combination techniques. Both of them were Earth-class early-phase peak, but their combination attacks could defeat Earth-class mid-phase, even mid-phase peak. Even late-phase Earth-class masters wouldn't be a problem for them. This was also why they dared to say that they were invincible under Sky-class at the Hidden House Summit. They were indeed very strong. This time, they came to help Chen Xiaoba. On one hand, the two brothers wanted to thank the Chen family for their contributions to the hidden Zhuang family. On the other hand, they wanted to come out and relax. Previously, during the Hidden Family Summit, the two brothers were too depressed. They wanted to show off their skills, but in the end, they didn't even dare to fight and left the stage. But now that they thought about it, not fighting Lin Yi was the best decision they'd ever made in their lifetimes. If they really did fight Lin Yi, they'd either be crippled or dead. There was no third possibility. In this period of time, House Zhuang had received a lot of news about Lin Yi. Lin Yi had injured the Sky class of the Hidden House Yu, and crippled the Earth class late phase peak of the Hidden House Zhuang. This news touched the nerves of the Hidden House Zhuang. Luckily, they didn't go against Lin Yi, or else they wouldn't even know how they died. House Zhuang was different from the other hidden houses. Elder Zhuang was only an Earth class late phase peak, And he couldn't even take one move from Lin Yi. If he went against Lin Yi, he'd be a cripple. So sometimes Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang would think that if they didn't get close to Zhong Naipao and Lin Yi during the Ice Palace test, they wouldn't have to be so careful now. With the protection of a god like Lin Yi, House Zhuang didn't have to worry about the other hidden houses harming them. Even though they invited the two brothers to help Chen Xiaoba, Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao didn't want to fight with House Zhao head-on. They wanted to kidnap House Zhao. The reason was that House Zhao had sky-class masters, but House Zhuang didn't. They had to be careful. But with Lin Yi's protection, things were different. House Han was so weak in the past, but now in Donghai City, House Zhao had no choice but to lower their head. How powerful was that? Of course, everyone knew that this was a fox borrowing the tiger's power. It was all because of Lin Yi. But they were hugging onto Lin Yi's thigh, and no one could do anything about it. House Zhao dared to provoke House Han? If they provoked Lin Yi, then their whole family would be done for. But House Zhuang wanted to go to Lin Yi's side, but they couldn't. They didn't have the opportunity. If they went to Lin Yi and made him their boss, then Lin Yi would think that they had ulterior motives. He might not even accept them. Thus, the hidden Zhuang family was stuck between a rock and a hard place. In the past, the hidden Zhao family and the hidden Han family were at the bottom. After all, the hidden Zhao family didn't have a heaven rank expert. But it was different now. The hidden Zhao family also had a heaven rank expert. Chapter 2552. This time, when Zhuang Niaoqiang went out to investigate, he found out that Ziyu's Chen she was a good cultivation vessel. Even Lin Yi didn't notice this point, but Zhuang Niaoqiang did. This had to do with the combination practitioner's arts and practitioner's arts. The arts and practitioner's arts were all about the combination of qi, and so there was the issue of the cauldron. I wonder what level this cultivation vessel is at. If Grandpa absorbs her qi, would he be able to break through to sky class? Zhuang Niaopao sighed. Plus, is this Chen she a natural cultivation vessel or is she someone else's? We need to be clear about this. We don't want to make enemies. Let's do it secretly, no one knows. Even if she's someone else's, we can't let go of this opportunity. Zhuang Niaoqiang said, if Grandpa becomes sky class, how much benefit would it bring to the house? Look at the hidden House Zhao, isn't Elder Zhao so strong after becoming sky class? Chem. That's true. Zhuang Niaopao nodded, then second bro, can you tell Grandpa? Okay, I'll call Grandpa now. Zhuang Niaopao said. He and Zhuang Niaopao didn't think about using this cultivation vessel, since it could only be used by one person. If one of them used it, their strength would explode, and that would cause problems with the practitioner's arts and practitioner's arts. Both of them had to be around the same level to use the technique, and if one of them was too strong, it would cause problems. Zhuang Niaopao and Elder Zhuang had been plotting for a long time, and they came to the same conclusion. This was what they had to do. With Elder Zhuang's nod, Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaopao made their move. Of course, they didn't tell Chen Xiaoba about Chen she being a cultivation vessel. Xiaoba, I think the girl beside Ziyu isn't bad, too. She's fresh and pretty, too. If you want Ziyu, that girl will belong to us brothers. What do you think? Zhuang Niaopao asked. Of course, it's not a problem. Even if you let Gunslinger enjoy both of them first, it's not a problem. Chen Xiaoba's heart was bleeding when he said this. He had no other choice but to please the two Zhuo brothers. Oh, we don't want the girl you like. Us brothers naturally wouldn't do such a thing. Zhuang Niaoqiang waved his hand and shook his head, we just want the other one. Hehe, then this little brother will thank you. Chen Xiaoba felt relieved and said gratefully. These two brothers of the Zhuang family are really not bad. Alright, let's move now, isn't it just a kidnapping? You're the son of an underworld boss, and you're not good enough, you still need us two brothers to do it, it's really useless. Zhuang Niaopao said. Haha, isn't this Cihua Li's territory? I don't have much confidence, but with Gunbro and Gunslinger, there won't be any problems. Chen Xiaoba smiled as he opened the car door and invited Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang into his Mercedes-Benz MPV. He then started the car and drove towards Songshan's first high. At this time, Songshan's first school wasn't out yet, so there weren't many cars in front of the school. Chen Xiaoba parked the car in front of the school and went to the guard as promised. "Uncle, I'm Ziyu's brother from your school's 5th, can you please call her out? Tell her there's some trouble at home, and it's best if she can bring a friend to help." Chen Xiaoba was dressed like a dog today, looking like a successful, sunny, and handsome man. The guard didn't have his guard up, thinking that Chen Xiaoba really was Ziyu's brother. He nodded quickly. "All right, I'll call her right now." As the guard spoke, he picked up the phone in the guard room and dialed the number of Grade 1 Class 5's homeroom teacher. He then explained the situation at the school gate to her. Ziyu and Chen Shi were people that the principal Ding Bingong personally told them about, so naturally, the homeroom teacher didn't dare neglect them. Hearing that something happened at home, she quickly told Ziyu. Ziyu thought that it was Lin Yi when she heard that her brother was looking for her. She was happy and worried at the same time. Lin Yi said something happened at home? So what exactly happened? And so, Ziyu quickly pulled Chen Shi and ran out of the school. Chen Xiaoba, on the other hand, was already hiding in the MPV, afraid that Ziyu and Chen Shi would see him like this. The reason why he said he was Ziyu's brother was because Zihua said that Ziyu had a brother, and they'd talked to each other before, so he pretended to be Ziyu's brother. This way, Ziyu wouldn't suspect anything. "Uncle, where's my brother?" Ziyu pulled Chen Shi to the school gates, but didn't see Lin Yi. She asked the guard. "Oh, your brother, he was here just now. Maybe he got in the car already, it's pretty cold today." The guard didn't think much about it and pointed at the car. "All right, thank you, uncle." Ziyu brought Chen Shi to the car, and because she was in a rush, she didn't think too much and didn't put up any defenses. She was just about to knock on the door when it opened, and Zhuang Niaoqiang struck out with his hand, knocking both Ziyu and Chen Shi out before they could react. Zhuang Niaopao helped to push the two of them into the back seat of the MPV and quickly drove away from the scene. All of this happened in a few seconds. Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao were practitioners, and even if Ziyu was a delinquent girl, she wouldn't be a match for them. The guard didn't see this scene, but this scene happened to be seen by Boss Zhu, who wasn't far away. Boss Zhu's mission was to watch and protect Chen Shi, and he would pretend to be a scavenger around the school every day to protect Chen Shi to and from school. When he saw Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao drag Chen Shi into the car, he panicked. But he didn't dare chase after them. Other people might not know Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao, but he did. He knew what the disciples of the hidden houses looked like, and he wanted to avoid conflict with them. Boss Zhu also knew how strong these two were. They were both Earth-class early phase peak, so Boss Zhu didn't dare to act rashly. Chapter 2553. Also, he couldn't say the hidden Zhao family's name because Boss Zhu wasn't stupid. Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao kidnapped Chen Shi. They obviously found out the secret of Chen Shi's body. If he foolishly rushed up and said his name, he was afraid that he would be killed. The two brothers of the hidden Zhuang family would definitely feel that their plan was exposed. Since they couldn't do anything, they could kill Boss Zhu, but if they really let Chen Shi go, then they would offend the hidden Zhao family. After pondering for a moment, Boss Zhu chased after them, but he took out a super broken phone and dialed Lin Yi's number. Although he was a subordinate of the hidden Zhao family, he was now Lin Yi's lackey. Although the hidden Zhao family was powerful, it wasn't as powerful as Lin Yi. Now that he had established a partnership with Lin Yi, the first thing that Boss Zhu naturally wanted to do was to find Lin Yi and let Lin Yi solve this problem. And this problem, only Lin Yi could solve it. Lin Yi hadn't even driven to the villa when the phone rang. Lin Yi picked up the phone. "Hello, I'm Lin Yi." "Mr. Lin? I'm Boss Zhu," Boss Zhu said quickly while running. Chapter 2554. Therefore, Lin Yi wasn't in a hurry to let Zhu Larodie make a move. Anyway, with Zhu Larodie following him, there wouldn't be any problems. I understand. Zhu Larodie was actually a ruthless person, but he couldn't be ruthless in front of Lin Yi. Previously, he poisoned Chen Shi's mother and wanted to kill her, which also showed that he was a ruthless person. Lin Yi continued on the highway towards Lin City. Lin City was an abbreviation. The full name of Lin City was Shanlin City. In fact, it meant the city next to Songshan. It was a small county-level city that developed later, so everyone was used to calling it Lin City. Out of the city center, there were fewer cars, and Lin Yi's speed instantly increased. Soon, he was on the highway, heading towards Lin City. Because he had confirmed the identity of the hidden Zhuang brothers, Lin Yi wasn't in a hurry. Since the two of them were in a hurry to go home, they definitely wouldn't harm Chen Shi on the way home. Lin Yi only needed to catch up before they reached home. Finally, on the highway, Lin Yi saw the Mercedes-Benz Viano MPV with the license plate 4321. It seemed like Zhu Larodie's judgment was right. Lin Yi also slowed down and slowly followed behind the car. Lin Yi didn't want to stop the car in front. Zhuang Nieqiang and Zhuang Niaopao were Earth-rank warriors. Even if the car flipped over, they wouldn't be in trouble. But Chen Shi definitely couldn't, so Lin Yi wouldn't do anything dangerous for the time being. However, although Zhuang Nieqiang and Zhuang Niaopao were arrogant, they weren't idiots. There weren't many cars on the highway, and Lin Yi's car had been following behind the Mercedes-Benz MPV, so Zhuang Niaopao, who was driving, quickly realized something was wrong. Looking at the Grand Cherokee in the rearview mirror, Zhuang Niaopao said, "Niaopao, the Grand Cherokee behind us seems to be following us." "Oh?" Zhuang Niaopao turned his head and looked behind the window. Sure enough, there was a Grand Cherokee not far away, but he wasn't worried and said, "It can't be right? This is a highway, so it's normal for there to be cars behind us. Maybe they're traveling at the same speed as us. Can it be exactly the same?" Zhuang Niaoqiang shook his head and said, "I will try to speed up." Previously, Zhuang Niaoqiang did not exceed the speed limit and only maintained a normal driving speed. After all, the two of them were not professional drivers and did not usually drive, so their driving skills were not too good. Zhuang Niaoqiang increased his speed. Lin Yi didn't intend to hide at all. He had already chased them all the way here. As long as they left the highway, Lin Yi was prepared to take down Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao. So when Zhuang Niaoqiang increased his speed, Lin Yi also increased his speed. He really did catch up. Zhuang Niaopao's face did not look good. Where did this car come from? It didn't appear before, it only appeared on the highway. That's not it, there were a lot of cars on the road, so we didn't notice it. Now that there are fewer cars on the highway, we saw it immediately. Zhuang Niaoqiang said, "If it's a blessing, then it's not a curse. If it's a curse, then we can't avoid it. Let's stop the car and take a look." Zhuang Niaopao nodded in agreement. If the people behind had bad intentions, then they wouldn't be able to avoid it. So stopping the car and taking care of it as soon as possible was the right thing to do. As long as it wasn't an expert, Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao working together shouldn't be a problem. The key was that they were afraid that the car behind them would suddenly drive over and force them to stop. Zhuang Niaoqiang's driving skills were very average. If he lost control and the car flipped over, they would be fine, but Chen Shi would be in danger. They didn't want to destroy this rare furnace. Thus, Zhuang Niaoqiang began to slow down. The car quickly stopped at the highway's emergency parking lane, and Lin Yi also stopped the car. Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao wanted to take care of it as soon as possible, so they didn't hold back. They directly got off the car and walked towards Lin Yi's Grand Cherokee. Lin Yi looked at the two aggressive brothers and sneered in his heart. He also opened the car door and got off. "Huh!" Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao saw the person who got off the Grand Cherokee and subconsciously stopped. Their faces showed a shocked expression and they wanted to turn around and run. They didn't know how they offended Lin Yi, but if Lin Yi caught up to them, it definitely wouldn't be a good thing. However, running away was just a dream. They hadn't even run yet, and they had already turned around. Thinking about Lin Yi's illustrious reputation, could they outrun Lin Yi? Lin Yi was a master who could even kill a heaven-class master in one hit. Wouldn't dealing with two normal Earth-class masters be a piece of cake? "Master Ling. Hello. Long time no see, haha." Zhuang Niaoqiang wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said incoherently, "Yeah, Master Ling, what a coincidence, I didn't think we would meet here." Zhuang Niaopao also laughed dryly, but his smile was very ugly. "What a coincidence. I purposely followed you guys." Lin Yi said lightly. Followed. Zhuang Niaoqiang's face suddenly changed. He couldn't help but shiver and asked carefully, "Master Ling, I don't know how we brothers offended Master Ling. The girl in your car is my godsister. Lin Yi pointed at the Mercedes MPV and said, "What? Godsister?" Zhuang Niaopao almost fainted. He had tried to guess Chen Shi's background, but no matter how much he guessed, he could only think that she was raised by some hidden house. She couldn't be any stronger, so they decided to do this. Once Elder Zhuang reached heaven class, the other hidden houses wouldn't be able to do anything. It was just like the hidden house Zhao swallowed the hidden house Yu's qi gathering pill. But now, they heard that Chen Shi was Lin Yi's godsister. This was too scary. "Yeah, godsister. You know what I mean." Lin Yi smiled. Oh my god. This time it was Zhuang Niaopao's turn to faint. He was very scared. Luckily Lin Yi caught up halfway. If he really brought Chen Shi home and Grandpa used her, then wouldn't Lin Yi destroy the hidden house Zhuang? Not to mention his grandfather, who had just advanced to heaven rank. Even the famous heaven rank expert of the hidden Yu family was crippled by Lin Yi. Moreover, Lin Yi only used one move at that time, so he didn't have any killing intent. Otherwise, he would have died without a doubt. "Master Ling, I'm sorry. We didn't know Chen Shi was your sister. If we knew, we wouldn't dare even if we had the gut." Zhuang Niaopao took a deep breath and decided to tell the truth. He didn't want to hide anything. After all, lying to Lin Yi at this time was basically asking for death. Lin Yi wasn't stupid, so how could he be easily tricked? Chapter 2555. Although he didn't manage to kidnap Chen Shi this time, there was a saying, "Lose at the swings, gain at the mulberry." From Zhuang Niaoqiang's point of view, there was no irreconcilable enmity between the hidden Zhuang family and Lin Yi. If he lowered his stance and admitted his mistake, he could build a relationship with Lin Yi and let Lin Yi become the hidden Zhuang family's backer. That would be much more beneficial than his grandfather becoming a heaven tier expert. The Han family didn't have a heaven tier expert, but they were able to fight against the hidden Zhao family. Why? Wasn't it because of Lin Yi? "Chen Shi, is she alright?" Lin Yi nodded. Zhuang Niaoqiang didn't lie and his attitude wasn't bad, so Lin Yi didn't immediately make things difficult for him. "She's fine, Master Ling. I'm sorry, this matter is our fault." Zhuang Niaoqiang said, "Please give us some face and visit the hidden Zhuang family. Our hidden Zhuang family will definitely show our sincerity and satisfy Master Ling. Go to your house." Lin Yi frowned. Zhuang Niaoqiang's change of attitude was a bit too fast. Lin Yi wasn't used to it. "Yes, go to my house." Zhuang Niaoqiang nodded and said, "Master Ling, I know you're angry, but this is how the world is. The weak are prey to the strong. This time, Chen Shi has Master Ling's backing. Our hidden Zhuang family will admit defeat and only hope for Master Ling's forgiveness. But in other words, if we kidnapped someone unrelated to Master Ling, would Master Ling care?" Oh. Lin Yi had to admit that Zhuang Niaoqiang was right. If the person they kidnapped was someone Lin Yi didn't know, then Lin Yi naturally wouldn't care. Therefore, Zhuang Niaoqiang couldn't say that what Zhuang Niaoqiang did was wrong. It was just like how Lin Yi knew that the Tagan family had a profound qi necklace and wanted to steal it. If Lin Yi wasn't as strong as Tagan Dragon, then Lin Yi definitely wouldn't have succeeded. Instead, he would have lost the two-spirit beast cause. However, if Lin Yi was stronger than Tagan Dragon, the outcome would be completely different. "Master Ling, don't worry, we won't do anything to Chen Shi anymore. Not only will we not do anything to her, we will also protect her. After all, Songshan City is very close to the neighboring city. As long as Master Ling agrees, we will send people to Songshan City. Even if Li Si hides in House Zhao, they wouldn't dare to make a fart." Oh. Lin Yi squinted his eyes and looked at Zhuang Niaoqiang in surprise. If Zhuang Niaoqiang said that evil wanted to please Lin Yi, then it would be normal. But why did it sound like he wanted to help Lin Yi? Moreover, Zhuang Niaoqiang seemed to have Lin Yi backing him up from behind the scenes to deal with the hidden House Zhao and Sihua. Was Zhuang Niaoqiang just saying it casually, or did he have other intentions? Seeing that Lin Yi was thinking, Zhuang Niaoqiang didn't dare disturb him. He stood at the side respectfully, waiting for Lin Yi's answer. "Master Ling, although our hidden House Zhuang isn't as good as the hidden House Pai, with sky-class masters, our hidden House Zhuang is still a bit stronger than the hidden House Han. For example, Chimen Dun Jiao. Zhuang Niaoqiang saw that Lin Yi was hesitating. He and his second brother Zhuang Niaoqiang had been working together for many years, so their minds were connected. He immediately understood what his second brother meant. He wanted to get closer to Lin Yi, and this was actually Zhuang Niaoqiang's idea as well. He missed the opportunity back then, and now that he had such a good opportunity, he would regret it if he didn't cherish it. That's right, look at Chen Shi, no one can tell that she's a good furnace. Master Ling, you're so awesome, you can even kill a heaven stage expert in a second, but in these unorthodox ways, you still can't compare to us, right? Zhuang Niaoqiang continued, if no one told you that Chen Shi was a furnace, would you have been able to guess? Oh, that's true. Lin Yi nodded, then it seems like the hidden house Zhuang has some use. But how do you know about House Pai? Zhuang Niaoqiang's heart skipped a beat, but he still spoke the truth. Master Ling, I won't hide it from you. Actually, after the Hidden Noble House Summit ended, we were a bit envious of the Hidden House Han, and so we paid attention to your matters. The more we paid attention, the more we regretted it. If we could choose again, during the Ice Palace test, we wouldn't have called Zhong Naipao boss, but you. Yeah, Master Ling, us two brothers have been looking for a chance to defect, but we didn't have the right opportunity. Haha, I didn't think that bad things would turn into good things. Zhuang Niaoqiang quickly said. If that's the case, then let's go to your house and have a look. Lin Yi nodded and said faintly. He didn't promise anything, but he didn't reject either. This already made Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao very happy. Lin Yi didn't continue to make things difficult for them, but chose to go to their house as a guest. This meant that Lin Yi already had the intention to accept them, so Zhuang Niaoqiang immediately said, Niaopao, you take Master Ling's car, I'll lead the way. Chen Shi? Lin Yi pointed at Zhuang Niaoqiang's car and asked. Chen Shi, she's fine. Don't worry, Master Ling, Zhuang Niaoqiang said, she just fainted, normally she'll wake up in a few hours. Alright, Lin Yi nodded, but don't call me Master Ling. You guys know my real name. Alright, we'll be like Han Xiaopa and call you boss. Zhuang Niaoqiang smiled and said. Lin Yi smiled faintly and didn't refuse. As for the hidden Zhuang family, if they really wanted to defect, then Lin Yi had no reason to push them out. Also, Lin Yi was currently making arrangements. It could be said that the aristocratic families were basically under Lin Yi's control. Next would be the hidden aristocratic families and normal sects. Only by controlling the hidden aristocratic families and normal sects would Lin Yi be able to face a higher level. These hidden houses and normal sects weren't anything special on their own, but if they were stacked together, their power would be terrifying. At the very least, they would be equivalent to the weakest ancient sect. With these resources, Lin Yi would be able to talk to the ancient powers officially, and he wouldn't be in as much of a mess as before. Of course, the most important thing was that Lin Yi had to deal with these hidden aristocratic families. Only then would Lin Yi be able to focus on breaking through to the ancient level. The ancient level wasn't Lin Yi's final goal. Lin Yi's current goal was to stand higher. The two cars drove towards the neighboring city one after the other. At this time, Boss Zhu also sent good news. Chapter 2556. She must have been tricked, and the person who called her out wasn't Lin Yi. The only person she'd been messing with lately was Chen Xiaoba, and the answer was obvious. Ziyu crept up from the bed and walked to the washroom. The door wasn't locked, and Chen Xiaoba didn't even want to lock the door when he showered. Ziyu could vaguely make out the face of the person inside from the crack. It really was Chen Xiaoba. Ziyu's eyes flashed with fierceness. She was a fierce person in the first place, and she didn't even bat an eyelid when she used to chop people up with a knife. She'd learned her lesson now, and it was all because of Lin Yi. But that didn't change the fierceness in her bones. Chen Xiaoba still dared to kidnap her after being warned by Zihua. How dare he? Ziyu had always been a fearless person, and with Lin Yi backing her up, she was even more fearless. Since Chen Xiaoba wasn't being nice, then Ziyu couldn't be blamed for that. Ziyu went back to her room and fell back on the bed, pretending to be unconscious as she waited for Chen Xiaoba. Chen Xiaoba hummed a tune as he took a bubble bath, feeling extremely refreshed. He was about to enjoy a beauty, and he thought to himself, "What's wrong with you, Zihua? You think you're strong? How dare you ruin his plans? If he couldn't do it in the open, he'd do it in the dark. They were all in the underworld anyway, so he'd just have to suffer in silence. After showering, Chen Xiaoba put on his robe and walked out of the washroom. He saw Ziyu lying on the bed, her body wrapped in tight leather clothing. He couldn't stop drooling as he walked over with a smile. Hey, little girl, you still can't escape from me, can you? Zihua? What's so great about you? What can you do when I'm playing dirty? Chen Xiaoba mumbled to himself, ready to rip Ziyu's clothes to shreds when something happened. Ziyu, who was unconscious on the bed, jumped up all of a sudden and sent a kick at Chen Xiaoba's pillar supporting the heavens. Ziyu had used all her strength in that kick, and Chen Xiaoba wasn't prepared for it, either. He was kicked right into the face by Ziyu. Pa! Chen Xiaoba let out a blood-curdling howl. That howl was even more horrifying than being tortured by the Manchurian Qing dynasty. His howl was extremely miserable. Chen Xiaoba's eyes and mouth were wide open as he knelt on the ground, his face deathly pale, crying for his father and mother. Boss Zhu has been squatting on the air conditioner outside the hotel window like a Spider-Man. He was an old man with a dark heart, and he wanted to see how Ziyu would deal with Chen Xiaoba. If Ziyu was in danger, he'd be the first to step in. If she wasn't, he'd let Ziyu do her thing. Boss Zhu was on Lin Yi's side now, and Ziyu would be happy if she was happy. Boss Zhu's mouth twitched at the sight of Chen Xiaoba's state. He'd cripple Chen Xiaoba with one slap, and that would be worse than this. He'd probably be in a vegetative state for the rest of his life, but he wouldn't be in this much pain. Chen Xiaoba, how dare you? Why don't you ask who I am? My brother is Lin Yi. Ziyu pointed at Chen Xiaoba arrogantly and roared. Chen Xiaoba really didn't know who Lin Yi was, after all. Zihua wouldn't have had to use so much effort to hint him, he could have just said Lin Yi's name. Chen Xiaoba's level was too low, and he didn't know how famous Lin Yi was. Boss Zhu's face changed. He had a phobia of Lin Yi right now, and if Ziyu were to shout this in front of the hidden house's disciples or even the head of the house, no one would dare mess with her. This time, Chen Bawang also came. Just now, he was the one who personally drove the car to greet Chen Xiaoba. However, he was a bit depressed. Originally, he wanted to take this opportunity to build a good relationship with the two brothers of the Zhuang family and treat them to a meal. But he didn't expect that the two brothers of the Zhuang family would drive away, making Chen Bawang's trip a waste. But since he was here, Chen Bawang wasn't in a rush to go back. He waited in the room next door for Chen Xiaoba to finish playing with Chen Shi, and then they'd go back together. Chen Bawang was resting when a heart-wrenching scream came from the room next door, scaring him. Wasn't that his son Chen Xiaoba's voice? Chen Bawang immediately became anxious. He got up from the bed and ran out of the room. He kicked open the door of the next room and saw his son rolling on the ground while covering his crotch. Xiaoba, are you okay? Chen Bawang panicked seeing his son in this state. Dad. I'm done. Ouch. Chen Xiaoba couldn't even finish his sentence, rolling on the floor in pain. Perhaps he saw his savior, but his eyes rolled back and he fainted. Little bitch, what did you do to my son? I'm going to kill you. Chen Bawang didn't need to guess to know what was going on. His son must have pushed Ziyu, and she fought back, kicking Chen Xiaoba in the crotch. So Chen Bawang didn't bother asking and pulled out his gun, aiming it at Ziyu. He wasn't a Jianghu, and a gun was the strongest weapon in his hands. Boss Zhu was just watching the show, letting Ziyu have some fun, but seeing Chen Bawang pull out his gun, Boss Zhu panicked. Ziyu wasn't a Jianghu, how could she dodge a gun? Boss Zhu directly broke through the window and slapped Overlord Chen's arm that was holding the gun. His arm was smashed into pieces and the pistol fell to the ground. Who are you? Chen Bawang did not expect that someone would come in through the window. Although his arm was in pain, he still asked in shock. He was an ambitious person. Although his arm was in pain, it was impossible for him to toss and turn like Chen Xiaoba. Her brother sent me. Boss Zhu pointed at Ziyu. Grandpa Zhu? Ziyu knew Boss Zhu, too. She was close to Chen Shi, and naturally saw Boss Zhu a lot. Hearing that Boss Zhu was sent by Lin Yi, she was happy but worried. Lil Shi was kidnapped too, how is she? Don't worry, Miss Ying. Mr. Lin went to save Lil Shi himself. Boss Zhu usually called Ziyu Ziyu, but now that his identity was out in the open, he couldn't do that anymore. Chapter 2557. Lin Yi Bro went to save Lil Shi. Ziyu breathed out in relief. She was happy for Chen Shi, but at the same time, she was a little disappointed. Chen Shi liked Lin Yi, but she liked him as well. Ever since the first day Lin Yi brought her to do hairstyling, Ziyu started to like Lin Yi, bit by bit. But her liking was subtle, and by the time she realized it, Chen Shi had already expressed her feelings for Lin Yi. Ziyu couldn't fight for a man with her sister that didn't fit her big sister character, so she could only keep it to herself. She often helped Chen Shi with her plans, but wasn't that what she wanted as well? She was using Chen Shi to make it happen. Old thing, you're treating me like I don't exist, are you? Chen Bawang heard Boss Zhu and Ziyu talking like there was no one else around, and he was a king of the underworld, a boss of the underworld. How could he feel good being ignored like this? Page, a small shrimp dares to talk big in front of a cultivator? Boss Zhu smiled coldly and slapped him. I won't take your life, I'll leave your life to Mr. Lin to decide. Cultivator? Chen Bawang was shocked, and this was his last thought before he fainted. His backing was the hidden house Zhuang, and he naturally knew who cultivators were. He knew how strong they were, but he never would have thought that this old man was a cultivator. Which force was he from? But Chen Bawang didn't have time to think about it and fainted. Boss Zhu called Lin Yi at that moment. Mr. Lin, Miss Ying's fine, she's fine. Chen Xiaoba's balls were crushed by Miss Ying, and Chen Bawang wanted to use a gun, but I broke his meridians and bones, turning him into a cripple. Well done. I'm heading to the hidden house Zhuang now, bring them with you. Lin Yi breathed out in relief. He knew that Ziyu wouldn't be in any trouble with Boss Zhu following her, but it was still a huge weight lifted off his shoulders. Hidden Zhuang family? Boss Zhu paused. Mr. Lin, haven't you settled your things? Are we going to kill our way into the hidden Zhuang clan? With this thought, Boss Zhu became excited. Is Lin Yi going to massacre the hidden Zhuang family? That would definitely be very hot-blooded. However, with his strength, would he be sending himself to his death by following beside Lin Yi? Kill what kill? Lin Yi smiled. The hidden Zhuang family seems to want to get close to me. I'll go take a look first. Ah, they want to. Zhu boss wasn't stupid. Hearing Lin Yi's words, he immediately understood. Hidden Zhuang family wanted to recognize Lin Yi as their boss. Thinking about this, Boss Zhu felt bitter. Why did Hidden House Han, Hidden House Pai, and even Hidden House Zhuang know that joining Lin Yi was their only way out? But why did Hidden House Zhao want to die? What good was there in going against Lin Yi? When Lin Yi got angry, he'd just destroy the entire Hidden House Zhao. Boss Zhu felt a bit wronged. They were joining Lin Yi's side, so it was natural for their people to work with Lin Yi. But he had to do it sneakily. What the hell was going on? Haha, don't be upset. Lin Yi could tell that Boss Zhu was upset. He smiled. House Zhao, don't they still have Zhao Chikuan? Oh. Boss Zhu's eyes lit up. That's right, they still had Zhao Chikuan. Why didn't he think of this before? If Chikuan died in the Sky Elixir School's test, then everything would be over. But what if he didn't die? With Lin Yi's support, Zhao Chikuan wouldn't be able to do anything, would he? At that time, Hidden House Zhao would turn the sky upside down. They might even split apart. I'll go right now. Boss Zhu took a deep breath and made his choice. He didn't have a choice, actually. He didn't want to die, so he could only become Lin Yi's follower. With Ziyu and Chen Xiaoba and Chen Bawang in his hands, Boss Zhu got in the car they were in before and sped towards the city. Lin Yi followed Zhuang Niaoqiang off the highway and got on a very smooth road. This road had a toll booth as well, but it wasn't open to the public. It only checked the cars coming and going from Hidden House Zhuang. With Zhuang Niaoqiang leading the way, and Zhuang Niaopao sitting on the side, the two cars entered the road without any obstructions. They soon arrived at a manor. The environment here was pretty much the same as Hidden House Zhao and House Han. It seemed like the hidden houses all had similar styles. Grandpa Zhuang, who had received Zhuang Niaoqiang's call, was already waiting at the entrance of the manor. In front of Lin Yi, there was nothing he could do. He was just an Earth-class late-phase peak master, while Lin Yi was a mid-phase peak Earth-class mid-phase peak. His real strength was enough to kill Sky-class masters. In front of him, Lin Yi was like a senior. The two cars stopped in front of the manor, and elders were ignored Zhuan Yaoqiang as he walked up to Lin Yi's jeep with a smile. He opened the door for Lin Yi respectfully. "Welcome, Elder Lin. Your presence brings light to our humble abode. We welcome you with open arms." Once upon a time, Elder Zhuang was very against Lin Yi at the Hidden House Summit, but things had changed. After knowing Lin Yi's ability to kill Sky-class masters, he adjusted his attitude, changing from being against him to fear and respect. Now, Hidden House Zhuang might become Lin Yi's follower. With such a great opportunity, Elder Zhuang was even more cautious, not daring to make any mistakes. "Haha, you're too polite, Elder Zhuang." Lin Yi smiled faintly and accepted the title of senior. Back in the cultivator's market, third brother of the right had already called him senior, so Lin Yi was used to it. "Senior Lin, please." The more indifferent Lin Yi was, the more Elder Zhuang felt that Lin Yi was amazing. As the saying goes, if Lin Yi wasn't amazing, how could he have such a demeanor? "Wait, let me take a look at my sister first." Lin Yi waved his hand and walked to Zhuang Yaoqiang's Mercedes-Benz MPV. He carried Chen Shi from the back seat. Although Lin Yi already knew that Chen Shi was fine, and Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Yaoqiang wouldn't lie to him, but after a careful examination, he found that Chen Shi really just fainted. Chapter 2558. I'm really sorry about this. We didn't know that Miss Chen Shi is Senior Lin's godsister. If we had known, we wouldn't have dared to do this even if we had the support of an ancient sect. Elder Zhuang's words sounded nice. What he meant was that Lin Yi was very powerful. Even if he had the support of an ancient sect, he wouldn't have dared to do this. It's fine. It's not your fault for not knowing. Lin Yi didn't want to pursue this matter any further. He couldn't say that the hidden Zhuang family was in the wrong. It was just that they didn't have the same information. If they knew Chen Shi's background, they definitely wouldn't have done this. Lin Yi followed Elder Zhuang into the Zhuang family's manor. Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang didn't dare to walk beside Lin Yi. Elder Zhuang treated Lin Yi like a VIP and went straight to the most luxurious reception room of the hidden Zhuang family. This place was usually used to receive the heads of other hidden families and people from the ancient sects. Now that it was used to receive Lin Yi, it showed how much importance the Zhuang family placed on Lin Yi. "Senior Lin, this is actually a misunderstanding. We, the hidden Zhuang family, want to use this opportunity to bury the hatchet. I wonder if Senior Lin can accept us." Elder Zhuang understood Lin Yi's personality a little. He knew that Lin Yi liked to go straight to the point, and didn't like to beat around the bush. He didn't bother with the pleasantries and just expressed his intention of defecting. "Haha." Lin Yi smiled. "What can you offer? I'll accept your Zhuang family as my underlings. If something happens to you, I'll have to help you settle it. We, the Zhuang family, will naturally follow Senior Lin's lead. Of course, in order to express our sincerity, we will offer all the good things of our Zhuang family for Senior Lin to choose," Elder Zhuang said seriously. "Oh." After hearing Elder Zhuang's words, Lin Yi was a bit surprised. He didn't expect that Elder Zhuang could offer such an attractive condition, which was exactly the same as the Hidden Han family. One had to know that even though the Hidden Han clan had pledged allegiance to Lin Yi, they had no choice but to take out all of their treasures for Lin Yi to choose from. However, the hidden Zhuang clan was different. They had only offended Lin Yi and kidnapped Chen Shi. All they had to do now was take out one or two valuable treasures and the matter would be resolved. However, the hidden Zhuang family had directly revealed their trump card. From the looks of it, they were eager to surrender and had no intention of bargaining with Lin Yi. "Then let's go take a look." Lin Yi nodded, accepting the hidden Zhuang family in his heart. Lin Yi was a straightforward person, and he liked people who did things in a straightforward manner. If they hid things, Lin Yi wouldn't have bothered to deal with them. On the contrary, Lin Yi approved of the hidden Zhuang family's way of doing things. "Senior Lin, please." Grandpa Zhuang heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. Since Lin Yi said this, then the hidden Zhuang family's acceptance was already set in stone. Unless Lin Yi went back on his words, or the treasures in the vault were too bad, Lin Yi wouldn't be interested in them. The vault is in the manor, in the basement of my courtyard. Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang's eyes lit up. Both of them had never been to their family's vault before. Thanks to Lin Yi, they were able to go in and take a look. Lin Yi carried Chen Shi on his shoulder and didn't wake her up. He could tell that Chen Shi didn't have enough sleep. Lin Yi wanted to take this opportunity to let Chen Shi sleep a little longer. This girl was also very hard-working. Other than studying, she also had to go scavenge for the family. The design of the vault was almost the same as the Hidden Han families. Lin Yi even suspected that they had a telepathic connection and found the same designer. In short, the situation was almost the same. After Grandpa Zhuang verified the fingerprint and password, the door of the vault opened. Niaopao, Niaoqiang, what I'm going to say now, don't spread it around. Even your father, I, have never said these words. Grandpa Zhuang said, this is the core secret of our hidden Zhuang family. It's only passed down from generation to generation. But now that our hidden Zhuang family has submitted to Senior Lin, we naturally can't hide this from Senior Lin. Yes, Grandpa, we won't say anything. Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang quickly promised. Lin Yi was a little surprised. What secret did this hidden Zhuang family have that even Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang didn't know about it? Senior Lin, actually, the ancestors of our hidden Zhuang family originated from the Everyday and Everyday sect. Our ancestor was a disciple of the Everyday and Everyday sect, but he had a falling out with the sect leader at that time, so he left the sect and established his own sect. Although the hidden Zhuang family flourished for a while and was as powerful as the ancient times, we, the younger generation, didn't have any outstanding talents. Until now, we were only classified as a hidden family. But now, this matter has passed for a long time, even the Everyday and Everyday sect itself doesn't know about this. We also don't dare to announce that our cultivation technique came from the Everyday and Everyday sect. Not only will it attract the hostility of some righteous sects, we're also afraid that the Everyday and Everyday sect will come and ask us for the things our ancestor took away. Grandpa Zhuang explained in one breath. So, you're a branch of the Everyday and Everyday sect. Seems like you have a great background. Lin Yi was surprised. I have a grudge with the Everyday and Everyday sect. Have you thought about it? We have a grudge with our ancestors. If this matter is spread out, we won't get any benefits. Grandpa Zhuang smiled bitterly. Moreover, even if Senior Lin doesn't mention this, the Everyday and Everyday sect won't care about small fries like us, right? Lin Yi nodded and said, let's see what treasures you have. All right. This is the treasury, and that is the scripture pavilion. What does Senior Lin want to see first? Grandpa Zhuang asked. Let's see the treasures first. Lin Yi thought for a moment and said. Lin Yi didn't lack cultivation techniques and martial techniques at the moment, unless they were especially heaven-defying. Therefore, Lin Yi's attention was still on the treasures, to see if there was anything he needed. Here it is. Grandpa Zhuang led Lin Yi into one of the rooms and pointed to a row of shelves in front of them. These are the treasures of our hidden Zhuang family for many years. Chapter 2559. But, what was good in the eyes of the hidden house Zhuang was just SOSO in Lin Yi's eyes. They were all things that Lin Yi didn't care about at the hidden house's summit. He didn't even have as many things as the hidden house hands. Seeing the disappointment in Lin Yi's eyes, Old Master Zhuang's heart tightened. He remembered that Lin Yi had also won a lot of things in the Hidden Family's summit. Most importantly, Lin Yi had been to the Hidden Han family before. It was said that the Hidden Han family had found an ancient relic. In that case, the Hidden Han family must have more good things than the Hidden Zhuang family. It was normal for Lin Yi to be disappointed. Qianbei Lin, I'm afraid that you don't like these things, but they are the collection of our hidden Zhuang family for many years, Master Zhu said with a wry smile. The materials of these 2 qi gathering pills are the most valuable among them. However, we don't have a third-grade alchemist in our clan, so we can't refine third-grade pills. The materials of these qi gathering pills have been preserved for thousands of years, so they don't have much value. Master Zhu said as he pointed at a box on a shelf. Oh, materials for qi gathering pills? Lin Yi was surprised. He didn't expect that the hidden Zhuang family also had this thing. Yes, this is my ancestor Tsongming. I got it from the Yi school. But there are too few third-grade alchemists, and the heavenly elixir sect won't help us, so it has been left here. Old Master Zhuang introduced. Could it be that Mr. Lin is interested in the materials for qi-gathering pills? Master Zhuang was a bit surprised. Although the material of gathering qi pill was good, it felt a bit useless. It was tasteless, but it was a pity to throw it away. It had been here for thousands of years, but it was useless. Master Zhuang's ancestors couldn't find an alchemist, so Master Zhuang didn't think that he could find an alchemist to refine it now. So he didn't have any interest in them at all. But in his opinion, Lin Yi was probably the same as when he first found out about them. At that time, old Master Zhuang was also full of confidence. But after a long time, he realized that thinking too much would only increase his worries. That's right, I'm interested in the materials for this qi-gathering pill. Lin Yi nodded. Senior Lin, if you like it, you can have it. Elder Zhuang was quite quick-witted. No matter how precious this thing was, it was useless to him. He might as well give it to Lin Yi. Old Master Zhuang is straightforward. Then I won't be pretentious either. When I make the qi-gathering pill, I'll need one from you. Lin Yi was quite fond of people like old Zhuo who didn't beat around the bush when it came to doing things. Hehe, I'm looking forward to it. Old Master Zhuang laughed. In fact, he didn't think that Lin Yi could become a grade 3 alchemist. It wasn't that he didn't believe in Lin Yi, but Lin Yi couldn't put too much effort into alchemy. Cultivation was the right way. After all, there weren't many alchemists like Heavenly Elixir sect that concentrated on alchemy. Lin Yi could see that old Zhuo wasn't interested in it, and he understood what he was thinking. If it was that easy to concoct, old Zhuo wouldn't have given him the materials so easily. I won't look at the others. Old Master Zhuang, I just want to ask you, do you have blue crystal, pure topaz, or colored steel? Lin Yi roughly glanced at the Zhuang family's treasure vault. Lin Yi didn't bother to look for those things, so he asked directly. Blue crystal, pure topaz, colored steel. Well, I don't have pure topaz, but I do have pure purple jade, is that okay? Old Master Zhuang thought for a moment and asked. Pure purple jade? That won't be necessary. Lin Yi shook his head. There are enough materials for qi-gathering pill, that's all. Not going to look at them? Elder Zhu felt a little guilty. The ingredients for the pill were precious, but they were useless to him. Lin Yi might feel like he got a treasure now, but when he went back and realized that he couldn't make the pill, he would feel like he didn't get anything better. Elder Zhu felt like he didn't get anything better. Elder Zhu felt a little guilty. No, let's go to the Sutra Pavilion to look at martial arts and mental cultivation methods. Lin Yi wasn't a greedy man, and since Elder Zhuang was on his side, he could always come and take whatever he needed. He didn't need to empty everything out. That's fine too. Old Master Zhuang didn't really care about martial arts and mental cultivation methods. Although martial arts and mental cultivation methods were not passed on to outsiders, but in his opinion, they were of little value to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was already an Earth-class peak mid-stage master. He definitely wouldn't destroy his own mental cultivation method and start from scratch. Plus, the Zhuang family didn't have external mental cultivation methods, so there was no point for Lin Yi to look at Zhuang family's mental cultivation method. As for martial arts, each martial art had a corresponding mental cultivation method. Not everyone could use it, not to mention martial arts. It was very difficult to understand a martial art. Lin Yi already had a powerful martial art. Why would he need to study other people's martial arts? Therefore, in old Master Zhuang's eyes, Lin Yi was only going to look at the Sutra Pavilion. At most, he would make a copy for his collection. But since Lin Yi had requested, he could only follow Lin Yi to the Sutra Pavilion. Zhuang Niaqiang and Zhuang Niaopao were very envious of Lin Yi's qi-gathering pill refining materials. These were qi-gathering pills. If it was successfully refined, then eating it would mean reaching heaven class. They didn't know why their grandfather was so unenthusiastic. The two of them were still too young, and they didn't know much about medicinal pills. That's why they had this idea. But old Master Zhuang was different. He was an old man and didn't have the unrealistic expectations of his youth. Following Lin Yi to the Sutra Pavilion next door, Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaopao respectfully stood at the side while Old Master Zhuang introduced the books in the Sutra Pavilion. The hidden Zhuang family's Sutra Pavilion had a lot more books than the hidden Han family's. After all, books weren't treasures. Even if they were exchanged with others, they could still be copied and copied. The hidden Zhuang family had a long history, so it wasn't strange for them to have a lot of books. So many. All of them are mental cultivation methods and martial arts. Lin Yi asked. The ones that are useful are actually the few books on this shelf. These books are all useless martial techniques and mental cultivation methods, just for show. Old Master Zhuang revealed a bitter smile and said, most of them were exchanged with others, which were unimportant and useful. Nobody would easily exchange them. Take these books on the shelf as an example. They are the real treasures of our ancestor. Old Master Zhuang regained his sight. Chapter 2560. Oh. Lin Yi casually picked up a book and flipped through it. Sure enough. The content made Lin Yi dumbfounded. Toad Fist. The difficulty level was easy. The first style was equivalent to 1/5 of a normal martial skills power. Although it was easy to practice, it was useless in Lin Yi's eyes. Lin Yi flipped through another book. It was also similar. Just like what Elder Zhuang said, it was just for show, but had no practical use. Is that so? Elder Zhuang smiled bitterly. Senior Lin, why don't you take a look at these basic martial skills and heart sutras? All right. Lin Yi nodded and turned his attention to the other martial arts and practitioners' arts that were placed separately. This is our hidden Zhuang family's heart sutras. Our hidden Zhuang family's heart sutras are all based on the metal attribute, which focuses on ferociousness and big movement. Old Master Zhuang said, I practice a mental cultivation method that focuses solely on the metal attribute, while Bird Spear Zhuang and Bird Pao Zhuang practice a mental cultivation method that combines the metal attribute. Only when the two of them act together can they release the greatest power, but if they act alone, they will be much weaker. Oh. There's a two-person joint attack heart sutras? Lin Yi was a little surprised. He didn't expect this hidden Zhuang family to have such good stuff. Yes, this heart sutras is a very mysterious heart sutras. It was only passed down in the ancient times. My ancestor happened to get some treasures from the everyday and everyday sect, and one of them was this heart sutras. Elder Zhuang said. Then this heart sutras can make two people's strength superimpose, and become a more powerful combination. Lin Yi understood the meaning of the heart sutras. You can say that. Bird Spear and Bird Pao are both at the peak of early Earth class, but if two people use this heart sutras at the same time, it will be equivalent to the peak of late Earth class. Combined with the martial skill, it will be even more powerful. Elder Zhuang said. Indeed powerful. Lin Yi was surprised, but this heart sutras can only be practiced by two people at the same time. Is there no effect if you cultivate alone? When Lin Yi saw this mental cultivation method, the first thing that came to his mind was whether he could combine with Han Jingjing to refine pills together. If it was possible, the strength of the two of them together, even if it was not heaven stage, it should be more or less the same. After all, Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao could reach the peak of Earth stage late stage. That Lin Yi was at the peak of Earth stage mid stage, and Han Jingjing was at the early Earth stage early stage. According to the amount of Jin Qi in their bodies, it should be about the same. Therefore, Lin Yi asked while suppressing the excitement in his heart. If he succeeded, he would be able to refine a third-grade elixir in advance. Not only would he be able to refine the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill that he promised Rock Candy, but there was also hope for the Qi Amassing Pill. With so many Qi Gathering Pills, Lin Yi would be able to mass-produce several Sky-tier expert. This was also the reason why Lin Yi was so desperate. Once Lin Yi reached Heaven rank, he could mass-produce some Earth rank late-phase peak experts. Then, with a Qi Amassing Pill, they could break through to Heaven rank. At that time, Lin Yi would be able to talk to the ancient powerhouses face to face. Just thinking about it made people excited and excited. Although they were all Heaven rank initial stage experts, it was still not a small force. At the very least, it was similar to the weakest ancient family or ancient sect. At that time, even Bingtang would not be able to look down on Lin Yi. Lin Yi thought evilly. Only when two people practice it at the same time can their strength be superimposed. If only one person practices it, then the person who practices it will only be able to superimpose half of his strength on another person who has not practiced it before. The power will be greatly reduced, and after the superimposed half of the strength, it will not be able to be taken back. Grandpa Zhua said. Can't be taken back? Then it will be given to another person? Lin Yi asked. No, when you stop practicing the mantra, the qi that was given to the other person will disappear. It will not be absorbed by another person. Grandpa Zhua smiled bitterly and said, this is also the reason why the shotgun and bird cannon are practiced at the same time. If one person practices it alone, there will be too many disadvantages. This mantra is not meant for one person. Is that so? Lin Yi was a little disappointed. If two people practiced it, then he and Han Jingjing would have to practice this mantra at the same time if they wanted to combine their strength. It was a mantra, but it was really difficult to practice a mantra from the beginning. Yes, but Senior Lin, you don't have to worry about this. After all, a practitioner can only practice one mantra. This is an unchangeable rule. Very few practitioners practice two mantras at the same time. Grandpa Zhua said, you can't do two things at the same time. If you want to practice another mantra, you will have to give up the mantra you are practicing now. Furthermore, it might not even succeed. Who knows, you might suffer a double loss and not be able to cultivate at all. So, Senior Lin wouldn't do something like putting the cart before the horse, right? That's true. Lin Yi suddenly recalled that it was true. When he was helping Meng Yaro and Chen Jianshu to practice their mantras, he had also looked through a lot of information about practitioners. It was precisely because a practitioner could only practice one mantra that Lin Yi didn't help Meng Yaro and Chen Jianshu to choose. After all, it was fine if they chose the right one, but if they chose the wrong one, it would be the same as harming them. Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. It seemed like his idea was good, but it was hard to put it into practice. No matter how good the mantra was, Lin Yi couldn't practice it himself, let alone Han Jingjing. The art of dragon mastery was Lin Yi's trump card. How could he just give it up so easily? That would be a waste of a heavenly treasure. This is a joint attack, and it can be used together with the mantra. It won't be of much use to Senior Lin. It's fine to keep it, but to practice it. Grandpa Zhua shook his head. Senior Lin should be practicing a fire element martial art, right? As for my martial art, although it's meant for one person, it doesn't suit Senior Lin's mantra, so I don't think you can practice it. Oh, forget it then. Lin Yi waved his hand. I'll make a copy of this mantra and martial art. I don't need the others. All right. Lin Yi wanting to make a copy of the mantra and martial art was not out of Grandpa Zhua's expectation. Normally, even if practitioners couldn't practice it themselves, they would still like to collect some martial arts and mantras. Chapter 2561. It was just like how Elder Zhuang exchanged all those useless arts and techniques with other people, but Lin Yi only copied the combination arts and techniques, not the ones that could be used by a single person. This made Elder Zhuang feel weird. Why didn't Lin Yi copy everything? But Lin Yi's thoughts weren't something he could guess. Elder Zhuang asked Zhuang Niaoqiang to make a copy of the technique. He said that it was a copy, but in this high-tech era, there wasn't even a need to copy the technique. They could just make a copy. He took the copies of the practitioner's arts and techniques, and left the hidden house Zhuang's treasury. At this time, Lin Yi got a call from Zhu Boss. He was at the road leading to the hidden house, but the guards didn't let him in. Wait a minute. Lin Yi passed the phone to Elder Zhuang. My men are here, but they're stopped at the road. Can you talk to them? Yes, Senior Lin. Elder Zhuang hurriedly took over the phone and said something to the other end of the line. Then the guard at the road hurriedly let them pass. In the guest room, Lin Yi saw Ziyu and Zhu Boss, who were perfectly fine. Chen Shi, however, wasn't awake yet, still on Lin Yi's shoulder. Achem? Lin Yi bro, what's wrong with Shi? Ziyu pointed at Chen Shi on Lin Yi's shoulder, surprised. She was the only one who dared to talk like this in front of Lin Yi. Zhu Boss, Elder Zhuang, Zhuang Niaoqiang, and Zhuang Niaopao all stood on the side respectfully. She fainted, but I saw that she didn't have enough sleep, so I let her sleep for a bit. Lin Yi said. Don't worry about her. Ah, I recognize them. It's these two little bastards who beat this old mother, knocked this miss unconscious. Ziyu saw Zhuang Niaqiang and Zhuang Niaopao not far behind Lin Yi, and she got so excited that she blurted out words like your mother, but remembering that Lin Yi didn't want her to swear, she quickly changed it. She was still staring at Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaopao angrily, wanting to eat them alive. Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang looked at each other helplessly. They were impressed by Ziyu's memory, remembering their faces in an instant. But this girl seemed to be Lin Yi's sister, or else she wouldn't be talking to Lin Yi like that. So Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao carefully explained, "Sorry, we didn't do it on purpose, not on purpose." "You clearly did it on purpose," Ziyu said. That. Zhuang Niaopao was a bit awkward. It was on purpose, but saying it wasn't on purpose would be like lying through their teeth. He was just looking for an excuse, and Ziyu took it seriously. I'm Senior Lin's follower now, we're on the same side. Can we let bygones be bygones?" "Follower?" Ziyu paused and looked at Lin Yi, confused. "He's really your follower?" "Yeah, but I just met him." Lin Yi nodded. "Since you're Lin Yi bro's followers, then naturally you're my follower too. Aren't you going to call me Big Sis?" Ziyu pointed at Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang. "Hi, Big Sis." Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang quickly greeted. "That's more like it. I'll remember what you did to me before, so I won't punish you. But whatever I tell you to do, just be quick." Ziyu wasn't stupid. She could tell that Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang weren't normal people. Living in a manner like this, how could they be nobodies? Having two followers like this was a good thing. They were much more useful than Zhu Ruoming. "Alright, no problem." Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang were worried that they couldn't find a chance to work for Lin Yi. Now that they were working for Lin Yi's sister, it'd be the same. Lin Yi would have no choice but to accept them. But Lin Yi didn't say anything. Since House Zhuang wanted to expand to Songshan, then it'd be good for Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang to look after Ziyu and Chen Shi. At least they were more reliable than Tsihua Li. Zhu Ruoming didn't dare go against House Zhuang, but his reputation was too low. He couldn't even handle Chen Xiaoba. "Mr. Lin, I've brought Chen Xiaoba and Chen Bawang. They're in the car at the door. What do you think?" Boss Zhu asked after Ziyu and the brothers finished talking. "Oh, you brought them?" Lin Yi nodded and turned to Elder Zhuang. "Elder Zhuang, Chen Bawang and his son are still part of House Zhuang. Since you've brought them here, it's up to you to decide what to do with them. Niaopao, Niaoqiang, bury them." Elder Zhuang was a bit annoyed at the mention of Chen Bawang and his son. He almost lost his life because of that, bringing the entire hidden House Zhuang down with him. Although the result was good, it was also a coincidence. If he waited until he used Chen Shi, then everything would be over, and the cause of all of this was Chen Xiaoba's lust for Ziyu's beauty. So even without Chen Shi, if Ziyu was ruined by Chen Xiaoba, then Lin Yi wouldn't let House Zhuang off so easily. So Elder Zhuang gave the death sentence to these two troublemakers. They were going to expand in Songshan anyways, and they just have to find someone to support them. They might not have anything else, but it was easy to find a spokesperson. "Yes, Grandpa," Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang replied, but they didn't move immediately. Instead, they turned to Lin Yi. "Boss, what do you think?" Zhuang Niaopao and Niaoqiang didn't listen to Elder Zhuang's orders, but didn't make Elder Zhuang angry. Instead, it made him happy. It seemed that his two grandsons weren't just training stupidly. They were quite smooth and knew how to please Lin Yi. "Let's listen to Elder Zhuang." Lin Yi said faintly, "There's a person called Zhu Tiandi in Songshan. He's not bad, you can train him to be your spokesperson." Zhu Tiandi and Zhu Ruoming were too low in Lin Yi's eyes. Lin Yi couldn't just take them in as followers. After all, they weren't practitioners, and Lin Yi couldn't train them. But since they had been helping Lin Yi, Ziyu, and Chen Shi, Lin Yi decided to help them out. "Yes." Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang left with Boss Zhu, preparing to dig a hole. Elder Zhuang heard Lin Yi's words and remembered Zhu Tiandi's name immediately. Hidden House Zhao. Elder Zhuang was worried about the Hidden House Zhao's reaction since Songshan City used to be their territory. Chapter 2562. "Yes, Senior Lin." Elder Zhuang was delighted at Lin Yi's support. He thought that he wouldn't support Lin Yi too much if he didn't show enough sincerity. But now, it seemed like Lin Yi was really supporting the hidden house Zhuang. About the business in Songshan, should I transfer a portion of the profits to Senior Lin's account regularly, or, it's fine, just donate it to the Songshan orphanage? Lin Yi said with a wave of his hand. He didn't lack the money, so he might as well donate it to Xiaoke and let her improve the orphanage. Okay. Elder Zhuang nodded, remembering the name of another Songshan orphanage in his mind. He was old, and naturally knew that this was the orphanage Lin Yi was looking out for. He'd included this orphanage in his list of protection. Soon, Zhuang Niaopao, Zhuang Niaoqiang, and Boss Zhu came back. It seemed like they had taken care of Chen Bawang and Chen Xiaoba. Senior Lin, you won't be able to see these two anymore, Zhuang Niaopao said carefully. Okay, Boss Zhu, introduce yourselves. Take care of them in Songshan in the future. Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu. Boss Zhu gritted his teeth. He knew that if his identity was exposed here, it would mean that he would become enemies with the hidden house Zhao and Zhao Qibing. But he had no choice. If he didn't show his true colors, he would end up the same as Chen Bawang and Chen Xiaoba. Boss Zhu, I'm from the hidden house Zhao. Currently, I'm Mr. Lin's subordinate, Boss Zhu introduced himself. Oh, hidden house Zhao? Elder Zhuang was startled. He didn't expect Boss Zhu to have this identity. They were going to Songshan to develop, so they would be enemies with the hidden house Zhao. Now that Boss Zhu was Lin Yi's subordinate, what did that mean? Could it be that the hidden house Zhao had already joined Lin Yi's side? But he didn't hear about it. Of course, in front of everyone, I'm just Mr. Lin's subordinate. I have nothing to do with the hidden house Zhao, Boss Zhu explained. Oh. Elder Zhuang nodded, understanding the relationship between the two. So Boss Zhu didn't represent the hidden house Zhaos, and wasn't that close to them. Alright, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. You guys only need to use my name to develop your business in Songshan. I believe that Sihua will back off, Lin Yi said. Alright, Senior Lin, I'll leave you to your work. Elder Zhuang wanted Lin Yi to stay for dinner, but it seemed that Lin Yi didn't have that intention at all. Everything was settled now, as long as Lin Yi agreed to let House Zhuang use Lin Yi's name to do things. Lin Yi's name was a golden signboard. Wasn't that what the hidden house Han was relying on? Lin Yi nodded and brought Ziyu and Chen Shi out of hidden Zhuang house with Boss Zhu. Lin Yi still had a lot of things he wanted to ask Boss Zhu, so he didn't want to linger. Of course, he didn't want Ziyu and Chen Shi to hear this. Ziyu, I'll send you guys home? Lin Yi asked. Sure. Ziyu was very obedient in front of Lin Yi. Boss Zhu drove, and Lin Yi sat in the front passenger seat. Ziyu sat in the back, looking after Chen Shi. The car slowly drove out of the manor. Ziyu was curious. Why did Boss Zhu say that he was from the hidden house Zhao? What kind of house was the hidden house Zhao? It sounded really powerful. Wasn't he just a trash picker? But she couldn't ask if Lin Yi didn't explain. Just as she was getting curious, she heard Lin Yi say, Ziyu, don't tell Chen Shi about what happened today. She's a pure girl, and I don't want her to know too much about these things. Ziyu was going crazy after hearing Lin Yi's words. What did he mean? She wasn't pure? She could do whatever she wanted. She was happy that Lin Yi was treating Chen Shi well, but at the same time, she wasn't too happy about it. You're different from Chen Shi. You used to be a big sister, and it's normal for you to kill people with a knife. You didn't have any expression when you saw Chen Xiaoba and Chen Bawang getting buried today, so there's no harm in you knowing some things. Lin Yi continued. Oh. Ziyu was happy. Didn't Lin Yi mean that she knew more secrets? Did that mean she was stronger than Chen Shi? Ziyu was happy again at the thought. Also, don't talk about Boss Zhu's identity. Let him protect Chen Shi quietly. Lin Yi said. Okay. Ziyu felt that she was an adult now, and she could talk to Lin Yi on equal footing. Didn't that mean she had a chance? Ziyu's heart sped up. What's wrong? Why's your expression so unnatural? Lin Yi turned to look at Ziyu, curious. No. It's nothing, I just feel like Lin Yi bro trusts me, and I'll keep it a secret, Ziyu said. Oh. Lin Yi nodded, not thinking much about it. It was about time, so Lin Yi didn't treat Ziyu to dinner. He carried Chen Shi to her place and left with Boss Zhu. Ziyu was a little disappointed. She wanted to wake Chen Shi up, but she didn't even see Lin Yi come. She'd be very disappointed if she woke up. Ziyu knew Chen Shi very well. She didn't say it, but she thought about Lin Yi every day, hoping that Lin Yi would come to visit them. Just this afternoon, Ziyu said that Lin Yi came to school to look for them. Chen Shi was so happy that her face was red. It seemed like she had to hide it from Chen Shi. Who knew what excuse she'd come up with to explain what happened? Ziyu felt a headache coming on. Only Lin Yi and Boss Zhu were left in the car. Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu. Tell me, what happened to Chen Shi? Chapter 2563. Lin Yi nodded. Things were pretty much what he guessed. What does Chen Shi need to do to become a human cauldron? What does Zhao Guangyin want? You know that the hidden House Zhao and House Zhuang were pretty much the same. They didn't have a sky class, and they were at the bottom of the hidden houses. Just the marriage with House Yu wasn't enough. They wanted to develop and find a backer for their family, and that's always been their dream. Boss Zhu said, so once Chen Shi succeeds, she'll be given to an ancient sect's young prodigy as a human cauldron, in exchange for an ancient backer for the hidden House Zhao. I see. Lin Yi nodded. No wonder the hidden House Zhao didn't get close to him. They had a trump card. But that was to be expected. After all, an ancient backer was nothing compared to Lin Yi. It was just that the hidden House Zhao's people were all short-sighted, and neglected Lin Yi's growth. In such a short period of time, Lin Yi went from a golden class master that Uncle Zhu could injure to an earth class mid-phase peak who could kill sky class instantly. This kind of growth speed was simply amazing. Lin Yi might not have the power of an ancient fighter now, but what about after a while? If they knew about Lin Yi's plan to mass-produce sky-class fighters, they wouldn't think this way. Protect Chen Shi, tell me before they touch her, Lin Yi said. Yes, Mr. Lin. Boss Zhu didn't understand why Lin Yi didn't do anything to the hidden House Zhao yet. With Lin Yi's power, wouldn't it be a matter of minutes? What he didn't know was that although Lin Yi could destroy the hidden House Zhao, Lin Yi had to spend a lot of effort to do so. He could only ambush them one by one, and once the other hidden houses that had a grudge against Lin Yi felt that Lin Yi had become a threat, they would band together and fight Lin Yi to the death. At that time, it wouldn't be as simple as a life and death struggle. Lin Yi was very clear about his abilities. Although ambushing a heaven rank wasn't a problem, facing a few heaven rank masters head-on was basically courting death. Now, as long as Lin Yi didn't completely destroy their families, they wouldn't band together. They all had their own plans, and no one wanted to go against Lin Yi and get killed by Lin Yi. So they maintained a delicate balance. What Lin Yi needed to do was to maintain this balance as much as possible, to get more hidden houses to lean towards him. If he could turn enemies into friends, he would. If he couldn't, at least before Lin Yi had complete confidence, he wouldn't make a move against them. Yes, your brother, Zhu how's his injury? Lin Yi asked faintly. He wanted Zhu Boss to follow him wholeheartedly, so he had to give him some benefits. Zhu injury was this opportunity. If Lin Yi healed him, then Zhu Boss would definitely follow Lin Yi wholeheartedly. Zhu Boss heard Lin Yi's question, and his expression froze. His eyes flashed with disbelief. He's crippled now, Mr. Lin. You mean, find a suitable opportunity, I'll heal him. Lin Yi nodded and said faintly, do your best, I'll increase Zhu's strength a bit. It's not impossible for him to reach Mystic late phase peak. Zhu Boss didn't think that Lin Yi really wanted to heal him. Not only that, but he was going to increase his strength to Mystic late phase peak. This was great news. One had to know that Zhu Boss' original plan was to heal his meridians and let him walk the path of a practitioner again. But now, Lin Yi's promise far exceeded his expectations. This was the first time Zhu Boss had the urge to follow Lin Yi with all his heart. Thank you, Mr. Lin. Lin Yi waved his hand. Actually, you should be able to see that I've never mistreated those who work for me wholeheartedly. Whether it's the common world House Liu, House Wu, Hidden House Han, or House Pai, they all received benefit. I understand, don't worry, Mr. Lin. From now on, us two brothers will follow Mr. Lin everywhere. Zhu Boss said excitedly. Haha, I still have some small chi gathering pills with me. If he wants to break through to Earth class, it's not impossible. Lin Yi smiled. It depends on you two brothers' performance. I understand. Zhu Boss said excitedly. 2 flowers bloomed, one on each side. Upstairs, Ziyu put Chen Shi on the bed, and she woke up not long after. She'd been asleep for a while now, and her stamina had long recovered. She sat up in a daze and looked around curiously, a little surprised. Chem? Why am I home? Chen Shi rubbed her eyes to make sure she wasn't hallucinating. Ziyu sis? Are you there? You're awake. Ziyu heard Chen Shi's voice and walked into the bedroom. Did I fall asleep? Chen Shi looked at Ziyu suspiciously. Ziyu sis, aren't we at school? How come we're home so fast? I remember. Lin Yi bro came. Did we go to the school gate to look for him? Where's Lin Yi bro? Ziyu's head hurt. She looked at Chen Shi, unable to tell her the truth. Lin Yi evidently didn't want Chen Shi to come into contact with violence, so she could only say vaguely, it's like this, didn't we go to the school gate to look for Lin Yi bro? It wasn't Lin Yi bro, it was Chen Xiaoba in disguise. He wanted revenge, and when we opened the car door, Chen Xiaoba's lackeys knocked you out, so I fought with them. You know I used to be a big sister, right? I'm pretty good at dealing with gangsters like this. I see. Chen Shi was a little shocked and disappointed that Lin Yi didn't really come. Those people were pretty bad, weren't you? You're not hurt, are you? No, they're too weak in front of your Ziyu sis. Ziyu said, so I fought them off and saw you fainted, so I carried you home. Chapter 2564. Ziyu realized that her words weren't very realistic. It didn't make sense. She should be doing what Chen Shi said, going back to school or the infirmary first. Why would she go home? School wasn't even over yet. But Ziyu's brain was quick. She thought of a plan right away. Yes, it's Grandpa Ju. He was scavenging near the school, so I called him over to help. The two of us carried you back. I see. Chen Shi nodded, believing Ziyu's words. After all, Boss Ju often scavenged near the school, and Chen Shi knew about it. Then I'll have to go thank Grandpa Ju personally. With that, Chen Shi got up to go find Boss Ju. She was a very polite girl, and since Boss Ju helped carry her back, she naturally wouldn't act like she didn't know. Don't go. Ziyu jumped. Boss Ju was talking to Lin Yi downstairs. Where was Chen Shi supposed to go find Boss Ju? What's wrong? Ziyu sis. Chen Shi said, startled by Ziyu's reaction. Grandpa Ju has a guest. Ziyu said. A guest? Chen Shi was even more curious. She'd known Boss Ju for so many years, and she never knew that he had any friends. The only guests in his house were her and her mom, right? So Chen Shi subconsciously thought that her mom was at Boss Ju's house. It's fine, having a guest doesn't stop me from saying thanks. Ziyu sis, I'll be going first. Ziyu saw that Chen Shi was leaving and quickly pulled her back. Don't go, Grandpa Ju isn't home. He's talking to Lin Yi downstairs. What? In her panic, Ziyu spilled the beans and brought up Lin Yi's name. Lin Yi bro's here? Downstairs. Chen Shi paused and turned to Ziyu. No, I mean, Grandpa Ju is scavenging in the forest downstairs. Ziyu quickly changed her words, but the pronunciation was quite similar. Grandpa Ju is scavenging in the forest downstairs? Chen Shi's eyes widened. There's a forest downstairs? There are no forests in our district, right? That's my mistake. I meant the little garden in the district, Ziyu explained. Little garden? Chen Shi was even more puzzled. There are people from the property management company cleaning the small garden every day. Where is there anything to pick up? Chen Shi often went scavenging with Boss Ju, and she knew very well whether or not they could find anything in the little garden. Ziyu's words were very strange to her. I don't know either. Ziyu was getting a headache, not expecting Chen Shi to be this gullible. She wouldn't have kept it a secret if she'd known earlier. She could have just said that Lin Yi was here too, and he helped her beat Chen Xiaoba away. But Ziyu didn't think about it before. She wanted to keep things simple and cover up the violence, but the lies were getting harder and harder to cover up. She had to tell 10 lies to cover up, and it was really troublesome. Ziyu couldn't cover up her own lies anymore, so she stopped. Ziyu sis, are you hiding something from me? She was starting to get suspicious. She stood up and walked out of the room. I'll go to the balcony and see what Grandpa Zhu is doing. All right, she. Don't go, I'll tell you the truth. Ziyu saw that she was going to the balcony, and she knew that things were going to be exposed. Lin Yi's jeep was parked downstairs, and she would definitely recognize it. Ziyu might as well just say it instead of letting she see through it herself. Ziyu sis. You're hiding something from me? She was a bit surprised. She didn't expect Ziyu to really lie to her. Man, I'll tell you the truth. Lin Yi bro saved us. He beat Chen Xiaoba and the others away. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to beat that many people. Ziyu explained, but Lin Yi bro seemed to be looking for Grandpa Zhu, so he went to his car to talk. I was afraid that you'd be disappointed if Lin Yi bro came, so I didn't tell you. Ah, is that so? She lowered her eyes, disappointed. He doesn't like talking to me. No, what are you thinking? Ziyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. See, I told you not to tell you, you'd be disappointed if I did. Actually, Lin Yi bro didn't let me wake you up on purpose. He saw that you've been lacking sleep lately, so he told me to let you sleep a bit more, until you wake up naturally. He really cares about you. Really? She had been going out with Zhu Laro a lot these days, and she had to do her homework when she came back, so it was true that she wasn't getting enough sleep. Lin Yi was a doctor, too, and it wasn't hard for him to see that. Of course it's true. Ziyu nodded. Plus, you don't know this whole way, but Lin Yi bro was always carrying you carefully, afraid that you'd wake up. He didn't even let us touch you. Being carried by Lin Yi bro, I'm so jealous. Ah! She's face blushed, and all the disappointment was gone. She became happy again. Then why didn't you tell me, Ziyu sis? I'm pretty happy. Hey, Lil Shi's hearts move. Ziyu teased as she looked at she's shy face. But since you're awake, and Lin Yi bro hasn't left yet, why don't you call him and ask him to come up? Ask Lin Yi bro to come up. Call me. She was a bit tempted, but she still said, isn't that a bad idea? Lin Yi bro's already gone, and if I call him back, he's still here, isn't he? He left before because you weren't awake, and he didn't know how long you were going to sleep for, so he left first. But it's different now, you're awake. Ziyu said. That isn't too good, right? She was a bit embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. What's there to be embarrassed about? Ziyu frowned. Lil Shi, I'm telling you, Lin Yi bro has a lot of beauties around him. If you don't work hard, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I'll be blunt, but do you want to be alone like Auntie for the rest of your life? Chapter 2565. Plus, think about it. Relationships are built bit by bit. You can't just imagine it to heat up all of a sudden, can you? That's not realistic. Ziyu said. You don't have many chances to see Lin Yi bro anymore if you don't take advantage of the time. When will you get to see Lin Yi bro again? Every time you see Lin Yi bro, your relationship will heat up, and as time goes by, it'll happen naturally. But if you don't see him, the chance will slip away. Is that so? She thought about it. It did make sense. She nodded and made up her mind. Then I'll let Lin Yi bro come up and sit for a while. That's right, you just need to express your gratitude. It's not a big deal, Ziyu said. Okay. She let out a breath of relief. Then I'll make the call now. Wait, you still need to prepare. Ziyu stopped her. Prepare? What do I need to prepare? She looked at Ziyu strangely. Of course I need to create a romantic atmosphere, Ziyu said. Right now, Lin Yi bro probably sees you as a little girl, so I think you should change his mindset. Let him think that you're not a little girl anymore, but a young girl. How? How do I do that? She blushed. She was a little embarrassed, but she felt that Ziyu's words made sense. It was true that Lin Yi always saw her as a little girl, but she didn't think that way. She already liked Lin Yi, and she didn't want to be a little girl forever. Look at you, wearing a jacket at home. How can that show off your body? Ziyu said as she took off she's jacket. You need to wear less at home. If you want Lin Yi bro to think that you're a young girl and not a little girl, you need to show off your body. But, isn't this a little too little? She took off her jacket, leaving only a small vest inside, and it was a low-cut vest. It really made her feel embarrassed. Little? That's a lot. Ziyu shook her head. No, you have to keep taking it off. Take off your bra too. What? She jumped, holding her chest subconsciously, stuttering. Bra. Bra off too? Yeah, you need to know what it means to be hazy. Like this, you don't wear a bra and a thin tank top, you'll look hazy and beautiful. Lin Yi bro will like that for sure, Ziyu said. This? I don't think so. She was a very thin-skinned girl, how could she do such a bold thing? Why not? Of course, Ziyu said. You're also trying to change Lin Yi's image of his sister like this, shocking him. My sister can't be that sexy. She still couldn't make up her mind. Let's forget about the bra this time. Can we do it next time? How can we do it next time? How about this? I'll take it off too and give you a demonstration. I'll keep you company, so you won't be too lonely. With that, she took off her jacket and put her hands into her shirt, unbuttoning her bra and throwing it to the side. See, I've already demonstrated it. Why aren't you taking it off? Ziyu actually had her own plans. She didn't want to fight with Shi for anything, but it wasn't like Lin Yi only had one girlfriend, right? Shi becoming Lin Yi's girlfriend meant that she could get a buy one get one free too, right? But the prerequisite was that Lin Yi had to like her before she could give it to him. Otherwise, if Shi became his girlfriend, she'd still be the sister. That'd be a tragedy. And so Ziyu decided to change Lin Yi's image of her, turning her from a little sister to a sexy beauty. Ah! Ziyu sis, you don't have to keep me company. Ziyu's sacrifice touched Shi. Ziyu was an outsider, and if she didn't, wouldn't she be letting down Ziyu's good intentions? Ziyu's heart was in her throat. With that thought, Shi gritted her teeth and threw her bra to the side, but her tank top was different from Ziyu's shirt. It was too low cut, and the slightest movement would reveal her white bunnies, making Shi very shy. This isn't good, is it? She looked at her chest and then at Ziyu's. Yours is much tighter than mine. Should I change my shirt too? Change what? Ziyu said, disappointed. I'm the one who told you to show your girly side in front of Lin Yi, not me. What are you trying to compete with me? She thought about it. Ziyu had already demonstrated it, and if she still couldn't do it, wouldn't she be letting down Ziyu's good intentions? So she nodded, gritting her teeth. Alright, I'll call Lin Yi bro now, but, perhaps out of nervousness, Shi used one hand to make the call and the other to hold the collar of her tank top, not letting herself be exposed. Ziyu looked at how careful Shi was, a little helpless. There was nothing she could do. Ziyu was satisfied that she could get this far. She'd take it slow in the future. Lin Yi was talking to Boss Zhu when the phone rang. Lin Yi looked at the caller ID. It was Shi's number. After Ziyu and Shi entered high school, Lin Yi bought Shi a phone as well, but she rarely used it. Lin Yi picked it up. Lin Yi bro, it's me, Shi said, a little embarrassed at what she was about to do. You're awake? Lin Yi wasn't expecting her to wake up this fast. Yeah, I'm awake. Thank you Lin Yi bro for saving me and Ziyu sis, and for bringing me home, she said softly. Lin Yi bro, did you leave? I'm still downstairs. Since you're awake, I'll go see you. Lin Yi, of course, knew what she meant. He smiled and didn't say anything, asking to see Shi. Okay, I'll wait for you at home. Shi was very happy she didn't even say anything and Lin Yi came. Chapter 2566. Alright, I'll go right now. Boss Zhu was a scavenger on the surface, but he wasn't poor at all. After a while, Boss Zhu came back with 2 bags in his hands. Lin Yi took a look and saw that one was papaya, and the other was milk. Lin Yi was speechless. He was visiting 2 girls, and this was what he got. Wasn't this going to cause a misunderstanding? Lin Yi was a doctor. How could he not know that papaya and milk were breast enlargement food? If he gave it to Ziyu and Shi, wouldn't they die from misunderstanding? Seeing that Lin Yi's face didn't look too good, Boss Zhu said worriedly, Mr. Lin, in the supermarket, only the papaya looks fresh. The other fruits aren't so fresh, so I bought a box of milk. Is that too little? Ooh. You don't know what these two things are? Lin Yi looked at Boss Ju, but an old man like him probably didn't have the time to study breast enlargements. He shook his head. It's fine, it's too little. You should at least buy something else, right? Papaya and milk. Lin Yi would be embarrassed if he gave it to Lin Yi, but with something else, it wouldn't be so obvious. It's night now, and there aren't any fresh fruits. The grapes aren't bad, though. Some are rotten, but some are good, Boss Ju said. Should I go pick some more? Go. Lin Yi nodded. And so, Boss Ju went to buy grapes again. This time, it was a little longer, and he came back with a bag of grapes. Mr. Lin, this is all I got. Is it okay? All right, let's go. I'll go see Chen Shi and Ziyu, you go home and rest. Lin Yi locked the car and went upstairs with Boss Ju. All right, Mr. Lin. Boss Ju went back to his house while Lin Yi went to Ziyu and Chen Shi's room, knocking on the door. Soon, the door opened, and Ziyu was the one who opened it. Chen Shi had her hand on her chest, and it wasn't convenient for her to open the door. Ziyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Lin Yi bro, you're here. Ziyu said happily when she saw Lin Yi. Well, since little she has woken up and I haven't left yet, I came back to take a look. Lin Yi nodded. I bought some fruits for you. Little Shi, what are you waiting for? I'll get some slippers for Lin Yi bro. Ziyu thought of something. Wasn't Chen Shi holding her chest? Then I won't let you cover it. Hey, thank me, right? Ah. Okay. Chen Shi quickly took the 3 bags from Lin Yi's hands, but with one hand, the other still covering her chest. This made Lin Yi curious. What was Chen Shi doing? But Chen Shi was a girl, after all, and she didn't have that much strength. How could she lift 3 bags with one hand? Chen Shi almost dropped the bags, scaring her so much that she didn't even bother covering her chest anymore. She reached out with her other hand to help. The movement was too big, and Chen Shi's tank top couldn't cover anything anymore. 2 white rabbits jumped into Lin Yi's eyes. Lin Yi felt a bit awkward and quickly looked away, wondering why Chen Shi was wearing so little. But Lin Yi couldn't really say anything. Ziyu wasn't wearing much, and this was a house where only 2 girls lived alone. It was normal for them to wear so little. Why would she wear so much at home? Thinking about how Shu used to wear nothing, Lin Yi could understand. Coughing twice, Lin Yi put on the one Ziyu gave him. Chen Shi, on the other hand, managed to keep the 3 bags from falling, but she felt a chill on her chest the next second. She realized that she'd exposed herself, and when she saw the awkward look on Lin Yi's face, her face flushed red. This time, Chen Shi couldn't care less about Ziyu's plan anymore. She put down the 3 bags and rushed into the bedroom. I'll go put on some clothes. Ziyu heard that and felt helpless. She stomped her foot in disappointment, thinking that Chen Shi didn't know how to cherish her. She'd finally created a chance for her, and she threw it away. Seriously, haha, it's warmer at home, and we don't usually wear much. Ziyu had no choice but to explain to Lin Yi bro, sit. Okay. Lin Yi felt a little awkward as well. He looked at Ziyu and realized that she wasn't wearing a bra, either. It wasn't as obvious as Chen Shi's, but it was still a little visible, and it made Lin Yi's mouth go dry. It was only now that Lin Yi remembered that Ziyu wasn't a little girl anymore. From the things he found in her drawer, and looking at her body today, Lin Yi suddenly realized that she was a high school girl. He treated her like a kid, but Ziyu and Chen Shi definitely weren't kids anymore. It seemed that he'd have to change the way he talked to them from now onwards. He couldn't always be like a parent, or it'd make the 2 girls a little rebellious. Ziyu noticed Lin Yi's gaze as well. She was pleasantly surprised. Was he finally paying attention to her? Ch, what do you think? I'm pretty good, right? Ziyu, don't wear so little when I'm here next time. You guys aren't little anymore, Lin Yi coughed, breaking the awkwardness. Ziyu was about to puff her chest out and say not little anymore, but the words came out of her mouth and she started sweating. Ziyu quickly calmed down. If she were to seduce Lin Yi here, not only would she be letting down Chen Shi in the house, but even Lin Yi would be pissed, wouldn't he? Maybe Lin Yi would beat her up and give her a bamboo shoot stir-fried meat. Ziyu thought back to how Lin Yi spanked her on the butt, and she was still a little scared. She'd been too careless. Ziyu stopped herself in time. She hadn't completely changed the little sister image in Lin Yi's heart yet, so she couldn't do anything inappropriate. But what Lin Yi said today was a good thing. She finally realized that she and she weren't little girls anymore. Ha ha. Ziyu didn't want Lin Yi to see through her thoughts, so she quickly changed the topic. Lin Yi bro, any news of my brother recently? Chapter 2567. Not yet. Ziyu was a little disappointed. Then, will it be dangerous? I don't think so. You know how strong I am, your brother's no weaker than me. Plus, he has so many teammates with him, it'll be fine. Lin Yi said. Is that so? Ziyu was confused. She remembered someone telling her that the mission was over, and her brother stayed there for a long-term surveillance mission. Why would he have a teammate? And even if it was surveillance, he couldn't not contact his family, right? Of course. You know that you have to follow the rules when you're on a mission, and you can't contact your family. So, your brother will be back in a few years, and the mission will be complete. He'll be able to live the rest of his life with his pension. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't know that Ziyu had gotten a reply before. He was going with his own understanding. Yang Huaijuan and Armadillo were on a mission together, so there had to be a lot of teammates. Oh. Ziyu was suspicious, but she didn't ask anymore. Her brother's job was dangerous in the first place, and some things couldn't be avoided. She was coming out soon, and it wasn't good for her to ask about things that would affect the mood and atmosphere. Don't worry, Ziyu. Your brother should be contacting our people soon. I'll tell you the latest news then. Lin Yi's heart hurt a little. He could basically confirm that Armadillo had been modified into a cyborg, but he didn't know how to tell Ziyu about it. Okay. Ziyu nodded. She pushed the door open and walked out. She was wearing a loose set of pajamas, covering her small body completely. Ziyu didn't know what to say. If you're changing clothes, you should change into something more sexy, right? Why did you need a big bag? Little she, if studying is too tiring, then don't go scavenge. I just talked to your grandpa Zhu, and I helped him find a decent job with a high salary so he doesn't have to scavenge anymore. When the time comes, he can give you some of the money he makes. Lin Yi's words not only explained why he wanted to talk to Boss Zhu downstairs, but also solved the problem of She's lack of sleep. Ah! She blushed, a little shy. She didn't expect Lin Yi to care about her so much. In order to let her study well and not miss her rest time, he specially arranged a job for Grandpa Zhu. In She's eyes, Grandpa Zhu was just an old man who picked up scraps. What kind of respectable job would hire him? What could he do? Lin Yi arranged a job for him, and a high salary at that. It must be to supplement his income. Thinking of this, she was very grateful, but also a little worried. Arranging work for Grandpa Zhu, will it be troublesome? Hee, it's not troublesome. Lin Yi smiled and said, actually, Grandpa Zhu is quite good at running errands. Ziyu covered her mouth and giggled. Evidently, she didn't know how good Boss Zhu was. Ziyu was shocked when she saw Boss Zhu teach Chen Bawang a lesson, but after knowing Boss Zhu's identity and that he was a master as well, and Lin Yi's follower, she wasn't too surprised anymore. Then, I'll thank Lin Yi bro on behalf of Grandpa Zhu. She knew that Lin Yi had already arranged everything, so she could only thank him. Alright, I'll be going first. You guys rest well at home and sleep early. If you run into any trouble in the future, just find Grandpa Zhu or Zhu Ruoming, Lin Yi said, getting ready to leave. Lin Yi bro, you're leaving already? Ziyu didn't want him to leave. Lin Yi only visited once in a while. It's getting late, I'll treat you guys to a meal another day. It's almost final exams, right? I'll reward you guys if you get good grades. Lin Yi said. How good can it be? She's already first in the cohort now, so there shouldn't be any accidents during the exams. I'm a bit lacking, but I'll be able to get into the top 10. Ziyu couldn't believe that she would be able to study properly one day, getting into the top 10 in a school like Songshan's first. Yeah, just maintain this level. Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi left their house with Ziyu and she sending him off. What he didn't expect was that his car was blocked by a BMW below She's house. Lin Yi was a bit annoyed at first, but when he saw who it was, he was overjoyed. It was Zhu Tiandi and Zhu Ruoming. Hayoshi Lin. Tiandi saw Lin Yi coming downstairs and rushed out of the car. He'd received a clear signal from the hidden house Zhuang, and they were ready to help him take over some of Tsihua's businesses in Songshan, officially becoming the representative of the hidden house Zhuang. At first, Tiandi was a bit confused. He couldn't believe that he'd be hit by such a huge pie. The hidden house Zhuang was a powerful existence, and didn't they have Chen Bawang as their representative in the city? Why were they suddenly invading Songshan? Plus, wasn't Songshan the territory of the hidden house Zhuang's representative, Tsihua? What would Tsihua do now that they were here? But the hidden house Zhuang's next sentence put Tiandi at ease. Zhuang Niaoqiang clearly told him that the hidden house Zhuang was working for Lin Yi now, and so Tiandi was pumped up as he asked for Boss Zhu's number and learned where Lin Yi was. He quickly brought Zhu Ruoming over to thank Lin Yi for coming. Why are you guys here? Lin Yi was a bit surprised. Why were these two here? It was normal for them to know Chen Shi's address, since they always protected Ziyu and Chen Shi in the dark. But how did they know he was here? Hayoshi Lin, the hidden house Zhuang told me to be their representative. I got your news from Mr. Zhu, so I came over to thank you immediately, Tiandi said passionately. Chapter 2568. I understand. I'll take care of the nightclub and entertainment business. I won't do anything like that again. Tiandi treated Lin Yi's words like an imperial edict. Whatever Lin Yi told him to do, he'd do it. He quickly made his promise. That's good. Alright, I'm going back to Donghai now. You guys go do what you need to do. Lin Yi looked at Ruoming. Don't just mess around in school. Learn some knowledge, you'll be able to take over your father's business in the future. You can't be a fourth-year student your whole life, can you? Okay, Hayoshi Lin. Zhu Ruoming replied awkwardly. Lin Yi got in the car, and Tiandi and his son got in as well. The two cars left the neighborhood one after the other, heading in two different directions. At Chen Shi and Ying Ziyu's house, Chen Shi covered her face with her hands, embarrassed as she sat on the sofa. Ziyu sis, did I embarrass myself today? Will Lin Yi bro think that I'm a casual girl? How could he? Ziyu looked at Chen Shi's shy face and comforted her. This is our own home. Even if we don't wear anything, it's fine. Don't worry, big bro Lin Yi won't think too much about it. That's good. Chen Shi breathed out in relief. It's not that I want to criticize you, but look at what you've done. I wanted to create a chance for you, but you went back to your room to change, leaving me alone in the living room with Lin Yi bro. Are you creating a chance for me or you? Ziyu asked. Ziyu sis, I'm sorry, I've let you down. Chen Shi lowered her head weakly. Forget it. Ziyu looked at that guilty look on Chen Shi's face, feeling a little guilty as well. She was helping Xiao Shi get Lin Yi, and now she was thinking about doing something with Lin Yi. Did that count as letting Xiao Shi down? I'll definitely work harder next time. Chen Shi saw that Ziyu's face wasn't quite right, and thought that Ziyu was angry at her for not working hard enough. Alright, let's see what Lin Yi bro got us. Ziyu didn't want to talk about this anymore. She didn't want to spill the beans. Chen Shi remembered that she put aside the gift that Lin Yi brought, so the two of them ran over to see the gift that Lin Yi brought for them. Why were they papayas and milk? This is breast enhancement food. Ziyu was a bit surprised to see the papaya and milk in the bag. Hey, isn't this a little intimate? Is big brother Lin Yi hinting at something? How is this possible? Sis Ziyu, aren't you thinking too much? Aren't there other things? These are grapes. Chen Shi blushed as she opened the other bag and said, I bought them together, it shouldn't be what you think. Why not? Ziyu's eyes started looking at Chen Shi's chest, a smile that wasn't a smile. I think these papaya and milk are for you. It seems like Lin Yi bro isn't neglecting you, he wants you to grow up. It can't be like that. Chen Shi was a bit shy, but more than that, she was pleasantly surprised. Did Lin Yi bro really think that way? Was he really hinting at her? But did he think that her chest was too small and liked girls with big breasts? Look, these are grapes. This confirms my guess even more. Ziyu pointed at the bag of grapes. Usually, in novels, There'd be some obscure descriptions, like eating grapes or something. It's the grape on a girl's chest, so this hint is so obvious. I don't believe that the person who bought these didn't have any ulterior motives. Ah. Then. She was starting to believe Ziyu's words. Look, these grapes are so small. Lin Yi bro must be hinting that your little white rabbit is too small, and that you should eat some papaya and milk to nourish yourself. Ziyu analyzed. I see. She blushed a bit shyly, then. I'll eat them later, okay, let's eat them together. Ziyu nodded. Ziyu sis, you're a big girl already, aren't you? She looked at Ziyu curiously. What do you know? Lin Yi bro has a milk cow sis, I'm still far from that. Ziyu said casually. But. I'm the one who's better than him. What's the point of you surpassing him? She was even more confused. Ziyu felt that this was bad. Why was she always so careless with her mouth? She accidentally said the truth again and quickly explained, I'm giving you a goal, aren't I? With me as a role model to push you to catch up, you'll have motivation. Where would you get motivation without comparison? I'm sacrificing myself for you. Ziyu sis, you're so great. The pure she said, touched. Haha. It's all right. Ziyu said, a bit ashamed. Yi sect. In the Yi sect, Pinliang and Xiaofu were carefully kneeling in front of the pure young master, while Naipao was kneeling behind the master. What? You're saying that Lin Yi's already a sky class? That fast? Pure young sky venerate was in disbelief after hearing Pinliang's story. How was that possible? What kind of insane speed was Lin Yi leveling up? He wasn't practicing some demonic arts, so how could he just jump up so many levels? He had been at the peak of mid-earth rank before, but he skipped 2 ranks in one go and directly went to the heaven rank. Did he eat a bunch of chi-gathering pills? That didn't seem realistic. It's not just Lin Yi, Zhao Qibing has become a sky class as well. With that, Pinliang told them about how he met Zhao Qibing and got beaten up. Chapter 2569. This was no longer as simple as being unrealistic, it was simply something that was impossible to happen. Liang bro, could it be that there's something wrong with your mid-tier golden cicada underwear? Naipao asked calmly after some thought. My underwear? I also suspected that the golden cicada's underwear was malfunctioning, but I found Tiger Right and his men hiding in House U to check. My underwear isn't malfunctioning, Pinliang said. Oh. Take off your underwear, I'll check it, Pure Yang said, thinking that there might be something wrong with the underwear. Yes. Pinliang quickly took off his underwear and handed it to Pure Yang respectfully. Oh. This isn't mid-tier golden cicada underwear. Pure Yang looked at the golden cicada undergarment in his hands and his expression changed. Zhong Pingliang couldn't see it, but he could see the problem with one look. Not mid-tier golden cicada underwear. Pinliang paused and looked at Pure Yang suspiciously. Master, isn't this the mid-tier golden cicada underwear I wore before? Could it be that the underwear is automatically downgraded? It's not automatically downgraded, it's your underwear that was swapped. Pure Yang pointed at the underwear in his hand. This is a low-tier golden cicada underwear. It looks similar to the mid-tier one, but I can tell the difference. This low-tier golden cicada underwear can defend against attacks from masters below Earth class, but it's useless against masters above Earth class. You can defend against Right Coiling Tiger and his men, but you can't defend against Lin Yi and Zhao Qibing. That Zhao Qibing must have suddenly leveled up to Earth class. What? Someone swapped it. How is that possible? Pinliang was shocked. I've been wearing this underwear all this time, how could it have been swapped? Gah. Pinliang suddenly remembered something. He had never worn this underwear before, and that was when he went to Meng Yaro and Yushu's room. He took a shower there, and didn't the underwear malfunction on the second day? Yushu. It must be her, this little devil, it must be her, she swapped my underwear. Pinliang finally understood why Yushu, who'd always been on the opposite side of him, was suddenly on his side. He'd been quite happy at first, but now it seemed like Yushu had set him up on purpose to trade his mid-level golden cicada underwear. Pinliang recalled Meng Yao's sudden cold, the tub of dirty water in front of their dorm, and Meng Yao's sudden concern. He understood that he'd been tricked again. These two girls were still on Lin Yi's side, secretly swapping his mid-level golden cicada underwear for Lin Yi. Brother Liang, shall we go back and settle the score with her? Jiao Xiaofu was infuriated when he heard that. In fact, he had said that to absolve Zhong Pingliang and avoid Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang's wrath. There's no need to be in such a hurry to settle the score. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang waved his hand and threw the low-tier golden cicada underwear to the side. He said faintly, "We'll definitely get it back, but if you go there like this, what else can you get out of it other than a beating?" Pin Liang and Xiaofu looked at each other, silent. That was right, going back to Lin Yi now for the mid-tier golden cicada underwear? Let's not talk about whether Lin Yi would admit it or not. Even if he did, he could still give it back to him. Master, since the underwear was swapped, it means that Lin Yi isn't a sky class. He must be an earth class. Let your disciple and Liang Bro go down the mountain and get it back, okay? Nai Pao was still loyal to Pin Liang. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang frowned. He only took Pin Liang in as a disciple because Nai Pao was his beloved disciple. He didn't have any respect for Pin Liang at all, and seeing that Nai Pao was going to help Pin Liang, he wasn't too happy. He said faintly, "Right now is an important time for you to complete the second stage of the Chrysanthemum Arts. Don't get distracted by other thing." "Yes, Master." Nai Pao quickly bowed and retreated. Thinking about it, he was indeed too impulsive, going after Lin Yi without completing the second stage. What if he wasn't a match for Lin Yi? Alright, Zhong Pingliang, don't blame yourself too much. It's just a mid-tier golden cicada underwear, you'll get it back sooner or later. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang didn't really care much about underwear. It was gone, so be it. For the sake of his beloved disciple, Pure Yang waved his hand. "You can leave for now, I'll think of a way for you to get it back yourself." "Thank you, Master." Pin Liang was overjoyed. To be honest, if he could get it back himself, he'd rather do it himself instead of letting Nai Pao do it. He thought that Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang wanted him to get up from where he fell, but the truth was that he didn't want him to delay Nai Pao's training. As for Pin Liang, Pure Yang was getting annoyed. He was just a normal person, and if it weren't for the fact that Nai Pao respected his boss, he would have sent him flying with a kick already. Fatty Lai had run into a troublesome matter the past few days, and it could be said to be a huge problem. Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company's reputation was rising, and they had recently expanded their factory, increasing their production capacity by quite a bit. Their products were already sold overseas, and the supply couldn't meet the demand. This time, Fatty Lai was going overseas to expand the market in a small country. Since Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company had a good reputation, all of their products were exempted from customs inspection. Fatty Lai was planning to adjust to the time difference after arriving in this small country before meeting the biggest medical company in the country, but an uninvited guest came knocking on his door not long after he arrived at the hotel, and beside this uninvited guest was the medicine merchant who invited Fatty Lai to this small country. Visiting late at night was a little weird, but Fatty Lai didn't think much about it. He thought that these two people couldn't wait to welcome him, so he invited them in warmly. "Mr. Lai, let me introduce myself. My name is Military Counselor Zhuge, and my nickname is Military Counselor. Of course, you can also think of it as a bandit's nickname," the stranger who came into the room with the medicine merchant suddenly said. This situation surprised Fatty Lai. This person was obviously the host and guest. Chapter 2570. Judging from the expression on the pharmaceutical merchant's face, it seemed that everything was reasonable. He stood respectfully behind Zhuge Liang. "Oh, nice to meet you, Mr. Zhuge." Fatty Lai was a businessman who'd been through a lot. He felt it was strange, but he still greeted Zhuge politely. Fatty Lai's words, however, hinted at a question. It was the first time they'd met. "What business do you have here?" "Haha, Mr. Lai, you must be very confused right now." "Why am I here?" Military Counselor Zhuge smiled and said, "Now, I can reveal the answer to your question." "Oh, please enlighten me, Mr. Zhuge." Fatty Lai frowned slightly. This strategist Zhuge didn't seem like he came with good intentions. Otherwise, he wouldn't have spoken so arrogantly. It seemed like there was a problem with this cooperation. Actually, I'm the one who wants to cooperate with Mr. Lai. This is our organization's representative in this small country. Strategist Zhuge smiled and said to Fatty Lai. Oh. So, Mr. Zhuge is the boss behind the scenes? Fatty Lai was shocked, but he pretended to be calm and asked, then, why did you want to cooperate with me, Mr. Zhuge? Is it to sell our company's drugs? Drugs? Strategist Zhuge smiled faintly. The profits from drugs aren't low, but we don't care about it. We want to cooperate with you, not to sell drugs, but to sell drugs. What? Fatty Lai was shocked. His face finally changed. Mr. Zhuge, you're not joking, right? I'm a serious businessman. This joke isn't funny. Who's joking with you? Military Counselor Zhuge's tone also changed from a smiling tiger to a domineering wolf. To tell you the truth, you've already boarded our pirate ship. You have to do it whether you want to or not. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude to you. You. Fatty Lai's face turned ugly. It's illegal to sell drugs. I don't know if it's legal in this small country, but it's not allowed in my country. I won't cooperate with you. Haha, you won't cooperate? You think I won't cooperate just because you said so? Strategist Zhuge looked at Fatty Lai with a faint smile. Could it be that you want to force us? We're all businessmen here, and we shouldn't interfere with each other's business. If we can't make a deal, then I'll have to call the police. Fatty Lai's tone turned very unpleasant. Call the police? Sure, why don't you give it a try? I'm not afraid to tell you that I've already brought some drugs into this batch of drugs. You can try calling the police and see if you'll be implicated. Strategist Zhuge said fearlessly, I know what you're thinking. You'll say that you don't know and that it was us who did it. It doesn't matter. As long as this matter is exposed, the reputation of your miracle Dr. Guan's medical company will be ruined. I'll even find someone to make your company look like a drug company. Your painkillers and other medicines are only effective because of drugs. You. Fatty Lai's face turned green with anger. Indeed, just as strategist Zhuge said, even if this had nothing to do with him after the investigation, if these people were determined to mess with his company, they might start spreading rumors and smearing his company's name before the investigation was over. That would cause his company's reputation to plummet. It'd be like having mud in your pants. Even if it wasn't shit, it'd still be shit. What about me? Do you think that working with us is the best way out? Don't worry, we don't need you to do anything. What we want is the exemption right of your company for the export of drugs. As long as you let us have a share of the profits when you export and import drugs, you can sit on the ground and collect money. This is a win-win situation. Why not? Strategist Zhuge started to describe the benefits of cooperation again after giving them a carrot. Your headquarters is in the country? Fatty Lai calmed down and asked after some hesitation. It's a branch in the country. I'm the person in charge of the branch. I'm only in charge of the business around here. Of course, it's not impossible for Mr. Lai to expand the business. I'll help you, strategist Zhuge said. How much profit can we make in a year? Fatty Lai thought for a while and asked. If you cooperate with us fully, we can guarantee you at least 5 billion in profit. Strategist Zhuge smiled and said, take note, the unit is in USD. What? 5 billion USD? Even Fatty Lai's eyes widened in shock. No wonder the richest people in the world were the invisible drug dealers. It seemed like this saying was true. If he could get 5 billion USD as a company that shared the loot, how much could they make? Wasn't it an astronomical figure? Are you tempted? Strategist Zhuge looked at Fatty Lai's expression and felt that his threats and promises were working. First, he scared Fatty Lai, then he promised huge profits. He didn't believe that Fatty Lai wouldn't be tempted. Phew. To be honest, I'm very tempted. Fatty Lai wasn't tempted. He was just shocked. But at this moment, he had to pretend to be interested and talk to strategist Zhuge. Otherwise, after today, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company would be infamous for being involved in drug trafficking. It would be a fatal blow to the company's reputation. Drugs were used to harm people. The contrast between the two would definitely cause the company's reputation to plummet. Personally? What do you mean? Strategist Zhuge was stunned. You should know that the company doesn't belong to me alone. I have some partners. So, I can't make the decision myself. Even if you threaten me, I can't make the decision now, Fatty Lai said. Fatty Lai said, of course, I'm personally leaning towards working with strategist Zhuge. After all, it's too fast to earn money. But I need to convince my partners first. Your partner? Oh, that's fine. Make a call and ask your partner to come here. I'll talk to him personally. Strategist Zhuge wasn't in a hurry. As long as Fatty Lai's side was settled, it would be half a success. Chapter 2571. Haha, do whatever you want. Strategist Zhuge smiled faintly. But let me remind you, don't play any tricks with me. Don't even think about returning to China. There will be no evidence of you transporting drugs here. We recorded the whole process when we unloaded the goods, and your company's name is clearly on the container. Haha, of course not. Fatty Lai did have such thoughts. He could deny what happened here if he returned to China, and the country was his territory. Strategist Zhuge was from the underworld, so he wasn't afraid of him. The big houses in the country were all his allies, and he could just ask House Liu to contact him or send Wu Chentian to threaten him with force. But he didn't expect strategist Zhuge to be so smart. He even recorded it, so he couldn't deny it. It's best if you can't. Strategist Zhuge smiled faintly and picked up a bronze ornament on the table. He crushed it, and the ornament turned into a bronze cake. He threw it on the ground. Don't treat me like a normal drug dealer. You'll die a horrible death if you do. A practitioner? Fatty Lai looked at strategist Zhuge in shock. He didn't expect the person in front of him to be a practitioner. It seems like you're quite knowledgeable. I don't need to say more. I hope you can contact me as soon as you return to China, or else you'll have to bear the consequences. Strategist Zhuge gave Fatty Lai a name card and threatened him. Okay, I understand. I actually hope to work with you, Mr. Zhuge. Fatty Lai took the name card and kept it. He knew that he couldn't just let it go like this. He still had to solve it after he returned to China, and he couldn't run away. Strategist Zhuge nodded and left with the medicine merchants. They wouldn't leave with Fatty Lai. They had their own ways to leave, and drug dealers wouldn't leave records easily. That night, Fatty Lai booked the earliest flight back to Songshan. Fatty Lai breathed a sigh of relief when he got out of the airport. Things were too sudden and strange. Fatty Lai realized that he was much more careless now. He wasn't as careful as he used to be. After Dr. Kang's medical group went bankrupt, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company entered a period of rapid growth, causing Fatty Lai to gradually lose his vigilance. This incident reminded Fatty Lai to be more careful in the future. Originally, Fatty Lai wanted his business partner, the Liu family, to investigate strategist Zhuge's identity and warn the boss behind him so that he wouldn't have any ideas about Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. Normally, common noble houses were a threat to mafias, but after knowing that Zhuge was a practitioner, Fatty Lai changed his mind. If the enemy was a practitioner, then they wouldn't be a small force. At the very least, they had the strength of the 5 small noble houses. So, Fatty Lai decided to call Wu Chentian to face Zhuge. Wu Chentian was the heir of a common noble house, and he was an Earth-class early-phase internal and external practitioner. He was very strong. One could say that Wu Chentian was almost on par with the hidden noble houses. So, Wu Chentian should be able to deal with strategist Zhuge. As for Lin Yi, Fatty Lai didn't want to trouble him. Lin Yi had entrusted the company to him. He couldn't ask Lin Yi to solve every problem, could he? He had to ask Lin Yi for help when there were things he couldn't do. For example, Dr. Kang's medical company's counterattack. However, Fatty Lai felt that Wu Chentian could deal with the mafias. There was no need for Lin Yi to do anything. He wanted to give Lin Yi as little trouble as possible. The first thing Fatty Lai did when he got back to Songshan was call Chentian, telling him what happened and asking for his help. Naturally, Chentian agreed without hesitation. He and Fatty Lai were both followers of Lin Yi, and Fatty Lai was in charge of Lin Yi's business. Now that the business was in trouble, Wu Chentian had to help. Fatty Lai felt much better after Wu Chentian came. He called strategist Zhuge and asked him to meet him at the headquarters of Dr. Kang's medical company to discuss the cooperation. Strategist Zhuge agreed without hesitation and told Fatty Lai that he would be there the next morning. The next morning, strategist Zhuge arrived at the headquarters of Dr. Kang's medical company on time. This time, he came with 2 people. However, the person beside him wasn't the medical businessman from before. It was another person who looked like a follower. Under the guidance of the company's security, strategist Zhuge and his follower were brought to the company's guest room. Strategist Zhuge was a little displeased that Fatty Lai didn't come out to greet him personally. At the same time, he had a feeling that something might happen in this cooperation. Could it be that Fatty Lai was just brushing him off before? Did he have a backup plan after returning to China? After entering the guest room, strategist Zhuge saw Fatty Lai sitting in the main seat. Beside him, there was a young man sitting with his legs crossed. He looked very powerful. Chairman Lai, what's the meaning of this? You're not going to cooperate with me anymore? Strategist Zhuge's face was very dark. Fatty Lai didn't stand up to greet him, which proved his guess. Strategist Zhuge, right? Fatty Lai didn't say anything. Wu Chentian stood up first and extended his hand to strategist Zhuge. I'm Wu Chentian, the young master of House Wu. With that, Wu Chentian started channeling his arts, and his Earth-class early phase strength was fully revealed. Ha ha! Strategist Zhuge laughed and extended his hand to shake Chentian's. He said calmly, I didn't expect Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company to be backed by a noble house. It's good that you know. It's important to know yourself. If strategist Zhuge wants to forcefully interfere with our company's business, then, Chentian said as he increased the strength of his hand. He was a physical practitioner, and with the support of spiritual practitioners, his strength was naturally much stronger than before. Earth-class early phase, a spiritual practitioner? No wonder he's so strong. He didn't expect that strategist Zhuge's face didn't change at all after being grabbed by Wu Chentian. He was still able to say Chentian's strength calmly. You. Chentian was slightly shocked. He couldn't see through Zhuge's strength. Haha, you're right. It's important to know yourself. You're just an Earth-class early phase, how dare you mess around in front of me? Strategist Zhuge moved slightly and shook off Chentian's hand. He slapped Chentian's chest. Bam! Chapter 2572. Phut! Chentian spat out a mouthful of blood, his face pale as he fell to the ground. He wasn't dead, but his meridians were all broken, and his organs were all dislocated. He was now a cripple. After a while, Chentian said in shock, Sky-class early phase, for the sake of Noble House Wu, I'll spare your life. Strategist Zhuge smiled coldly and turned to Fatty Lai, who was also sweating profusely. Boss Lai, is this your business partner, or did you hire him to help you? Can we continue talking about the cooperation? Chentian took a deep breath and closed his eyes, starting to meditate. He didn't want to talk too much at a time like this. Staying alive was the most important thing. He was too careless today. He didn't expect a drug dealer to be a Sky-class early phase master. Chentian wasn't worried, however. This wasn't the first time he became a cripple. He knew that as long as he had a boss like Lin Yi, he would be able to recover his strength in a matter of minutes. But what about Fatty Lai? How could he get Lin Yi to help? I didn't expect strategist Zhuge to be a Sky-class early phase master. My apologies, my apologies. Fatty Lai was even more shocked after hearing Chentian's strength. He smiled bitterly, then, let's talk about cooperation. Haha, if I wasn't a Sky-class early phase master but a Mystic-class master, wouldn't I die here today? Strategist Zhuge said faintly. That. Fatty Lai felt a little awkward. It's fine. In the world of practitioners, it's the law of the jungle. I'm used to it. Strategist Zhuge waved his hand. I'm stronger than you now, so you're mine, but since you don't want to cooperate, I'll make some changes to the terms of cooperation. I'll reduce your profits. That's fine. Fatty Lai smiled bitterly. Strategist Zhuge, if that's the case, I'll tell you the truth. I'm actually working for someone else. I have a boss behind me, and I can't make the decision myself. I'll have to ask my boss for help. Your boss behind you? Are you talking about the secular Wu family? Strategist Zhuge glanced at Chen Tian at the corner. Chen Tian's appearance reminded him of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company's House Wu. No, Wu Chen Tian and I are working for the boss. Fatty Lai shook his head, denying Strategist Zhuge's guess. Are you all workers? Strategist Zhuge squinted his eyes and a sharp light flashed through his eyes. He thought that Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company only had the backing of the Wu family in the secular world, but now it seemed that even the young master of the Wu family was working for the boss behind the scenes. That meant that the boss behind the scenes wasn't simple either. Thinking of this, he decided to find out the strength of the boss behind him before saying, "All right, in that case, why don't you find the boss behind you? But don't tell me you're looking for outside help again." Sort of, but not really. If even my boss can't handle it, then he'll personally talk to Strategist Zhuge about working together, Fatty Lai replied. Strategist Zhuge waved his hand and ordered, "That's good. You can make the call now." Fatty Lai didn't say much and dialed Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi came back from Songshan very late last night, and he didn't talk to Han Jingjing when he got home. He didn't know about the conditions that Right Panhu gave him in exchange of information. He was about to talk to Han Jingjing in the car when his phone rang. Looking at the caller ID, Lin Yi was a little confused. Wasn't Fatty Lai overseas for business? Why was he calling at this time? "Hello, Fatty Lai, what's up?" Lin Yi picked up the phone. "Boss, something happened at the medical company." Fatty Lai didn't hide it and told the whole story in front of Strategist Zhuge. He only talked about the matter as it stood and didn't add any personal feelings. In the end, he also told him about Wu Chentian being injured. What? Wu Chentian was injured? Lin Yi was shocked after listening to Fatty Lai's story. However, he wasn't too worried about Wu Chentian. He was only shocked that this Strategist Zhuge was a Sky-class early phase master. What was more coincidental was that this Strategist Zhuge was called Strategist. Could it be the strategist Dafeng Bro sent from the Red Conch HQ? Considering that he was also a drug dealer, it was very possible. "Yes, boss. What do we do now?" Fatty Lai asked. "Wait for a while, I'll go over now," Lin Yi said. He decided to meet this strategist, but this strategist was a Sky-class early phase master. It was risky for Lin Yi to go over, but he had no other choice. He couldn't really compromise and work with them, could he? So, even if it was risky, Lin Yi had to take it. Plus, if he did it right, he should be able to keep the danger to a minimum. Other than the Raging Fire 8 trigram palm, Lin Yi also had the Net of Heaven and Earth. If he really couldn't do it, he would use the Net of Heaven and Earth. Who cares if you're a Sky-class master or not? You won't be able to move. Then, he would use the Raging Fire 8 trigram palm to see if you'd survive. Of course, if you didn't die, he could use his ultimate technique, the Chi Bomb. No matter how strong you were, you'd still die. But from the start, Lin Yi didn't plan to use the Chi Bomb. In such a small room, it was a suicidal move. Especially since Wu Chentian was half dead and Fatty Lai wasn't a practitioner. It didn't matter if Lin Yi was injured, but it wouldn't be fun if Fatty Lai and Wu Chentian died. "Yao Yao, something happened at Fatty Lai's company. I have to go back to Songshan to deal with it. Can you drive with everyone to school today?" Lin Yi said. "Okay." Meng Yao nodded. "You really know how to make trouble. You just came back last night and went back this morning. If you knew this would happen, you should have stayed at your old villa for the night." "Yeah, who knew that things would happen at the same time?" Lin Yi smiled bitterly. With that, Lin Yi left the villa and drove the jeep back to Songshan. On the way, Lin Yi called Dafeng Bro Mr. Lin. Dafeng Bro picked up quickly and said respectfully, "Dafeng, let me ask you. Do you think the strategist sent by the headquarters is called Strategist Zhuge?" Lin Yi asked. Chapter 2573. "Oh, he's a master in the early stage of heaven class?" Lin Yi ignored Dafeng's complaints and continued asking. "Yes, he's a master in the early stage of heaven class." Dafeng nodded and said, "Mr. Lin, Why are you asking this all of a sudden? He came to my company, Lin Yi said. What? He went to your company? Dafeng was stunned and asked curiously, why did he go to Mr. Lin's company? Hey, it's like this. Lin Yi told Dafeng about strategist Zhuge's plan to frame Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company and force them to cooperate. Then, Mr. Lin means that you want me to deal with it. Dafeng knew Lin Yi's strength, so he didn't think that Lin Yi could kill strategist Zhuge. He thought that Lin Yi wanted him to deal with it, but he was also in a difficult position. You also know that although I'm the leader now, my words don't carry much weight. There's no need to deal with it. Lin Yi smiled and said, I just want to know if there will be any problems if strategist Zhuge dies. Problems? He can die. Dafeng was stunned and then said in surprise, if he dies, that would be great. I can take the opportunity to rise and take a breather. Okay, then you wait to collect his corpse. Lin Yi hung up the phone. They finally arrived at the Dr. Kang's medical company building. The security guard at the door was the same one from yesterday, but when he saw Lin Yi, he immediately greeted him respectfully. Mr. Lin, are you looking for Vice President Kang? Take me to the reception room. Lin Yi didn't talk nonsense with him and said directly. Okay, the security guard nodded quickly, took Lin Yi to the elevator, and pointed to the direction of the reception room for Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't hide his strength when he arrived at the door of the guest room. He started channeling the art of dragon mastery, revealing his Earth-class mid-phase peak to the fullest. This was to confuse them. Lin Yi pushed the door open and walked in. He could feel the tense atmosphere in the room. No one was talking, but Fatty Lai was sitting there with cold sweat on his forehead. He let out a sigh of relief when he saw Lin Yi. He stood up. Boss, you're here. Haha, and here I was wondering how strong the person behind you was. But it's just an Earth-class mid-phase peak. Strategist Zhuge burst into laughter when he saw Lin Yi. Just now, an Earth-class early phase came to die, and now, another Earth-class mid-phase peak. Do you think you can pose any threat to me? In my eyes, even if you're Earth-class late-phase peak, you're still an Earth-class master. Oh, the seventh move of the Raging Flame 8 Trigram's palm. A moment ago, Lin Yi was nodding his head in a very inferior manner, but the next moment, he attacked without any warning. Boom! A powerful martial technique was released in an instant, crashing onto strategist Zhuge's body. The martial technique had been activated before he could defend himself. It was equivalent to the 13th style of a normal martial technique. Strategist Zhuge was a Sky-class early phase peak master, let alone an Earth-class early phase peak master. He would definitely die under Lin Yi's attack without any defense. This time, the martial technique was even more powerful than the one that attacked Third Right. Third Right was crippled, and strategist Zhuge died with his eyes wide open. He didn't even have time to say a word before he died. His whole body was smashed into meat paste, and all his bones were broken. It was as miserable as one could imagine. Ha! Lin Yi turned his head innocently and looked at strategist Zhuge's follower, who was already stunned. At this moment, the follower's face was pale, and he couldn't stop trembling. He was just a golden class master, and he couldn't even stand a finger in front of Lin Yi. In his eyes, he had already regarded Lin Yi as a Sky-class early phase peak master, or even a Sky-class middle phase master. Although Lin Yi just showed the strength of a Earth-class middle phase peak master, the martial technique that Lin Yi activated was the 13th style of Sky-class martial technique, which could only be activated by a Sky-class early phase peak master or a Sky-class middle phase master. So, Lin Yi must have deliberately suppressed his strength, pretending to be weak. So, when Lin Yi looked at him, he was completely disheartened. Senior, I'm just a follower. It has nothing to do with me. This is all strategist Zhuge's idea. Oh, then go back with his body. Tell the people behind you that when I have time, I will go to your headquarters and settle this account. How dare you touch my company? Do you want to die? Lin Yi warned faintly. Naturally, he wouldn't kill this follower. He had to find someone to go back and pass the message, and he had to bring back strategist Zhuge's body. At that time, with strategist Zhuge's miserable corpse, it would be easier for Bro Dafeng to take over the position, and the masters at the headquarters would also have to think twice. In this kind of place where there was a grudge, They shouldn't get themselves involved. The grudge was caused by strategist Zhuge, and if Lin Yi wanted to settle it when he had the chance, wouldn't he be asking for trouble if he came at this time? He believed that no one would be willing to get involved in this mess, and Bro Dafeng would naturally take over the position. Yes, yes. The follower replied hurriedly, and was about to carry strategist Zhuge's body away. Wait, Fatty Lai, go find a suitcase for him. Carrying him out like this will scare the ordinary employees in the company. Lin Yi waved his hand to stop the follower and said, "Okay." Fatty Lai came back to his senses, and the way he looked at Lin Yi was more respectful. One move, and that arrogant strategist Zhuge died. Wasn't he a little too strong? Although Chen Tian had long heard that Lin Yi could fight Sky Class, it was just a rumor. Today was the first time he saw it, and it was Lin Yi who killed a Sky Class with absolute superiority. What kind of concept was this? Chen Tian was very glad that his two bosses were both powerful men. Gaodan could kill someone with Golden Shield, and Lin Yi could kill a Sky Class instantly. They weren't just normal powerful men. It seemed that his choice back then was correct. Fatty Lai quickly found a suitcase and gave it to the follower. The follower quietly put strategist Zhuge's body into the suitcase, closed it, and looked at Lin Yi with respect, turned around, and left the guest room. This follower was also from the headquarters. He was originally a small fry in the headquarters, and it was an incomparably glorious thing to follow strategist Zhuge to the national division. As long as he did it well, it was only a matter of time before he became successful. Chapter 2574. The leader of the branch, Big Brother Feng, had no right to speak at all. He was just a figurehead. At that time, the follower was very excited. If he did well, he might be able to get the position of the second-in-command in a few years. Since the first master was just an empty shell, he, the second-in-command, would be the first master and would be directly responsible to military counselor Zhuge. Of course, the wish was good, but the reality was cruel. He didn't even have a few good days before advisor Zhuge was killed. He, the follower, would fall into the abyss. Although he couldn't stay in the branch anymore, he could go back to the headquarters. But if he went back to the headquarters, he would be a small fry for life. No one would dare to use him. They would think that he was unlucky. It was impossible for him to develop. It was better to just eat and wait for death. He was afraid of being used as a scapegoat. Everything would be over if he was used as a scapegoat. Although Red Conches was mysterious, it was still a large terrorist drug trafficking organization. Who wouldn't get their shoes wet if they always stood by the river? The police would have something on him. Plus, there were some useless scapegoats in Red Conches. If this follower went back, he might become one of them. He was depressed. He didn't hate Lin Yi, but he hated advisor Zhuge. He was a smart person. He knew that every debt had a debtor. If advisor Zhuge didn't bully people and offend someone he shouldn't have, he wouldn't have died. Thinking about how Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was doing so well in such a short period of time, how could it be without a strong backer? This advisor Zhuge even called himself the reincarnation of Zhuge Liang. He was the reincarnation of a pig. Even pigs were smarter than him. What an idiot. However, even though he was angry and sad, he still followed the rules and told Da Feng about this. Although advisor Zhuge was in charge of the branch and Da Feng was just a figurehead, Da Feng was actually the biggest boss. He wanted to tell Da Feng not to tell Da Feng. It was not impossible to report directly to the headquarters without telling Big Brother Feng, but now that strategist Zhuge was dead, he had no backing. If someone messed with him and said that he did not follow the rules, it would be equivalent to sending him to the 18th level of hell. Alright, he could only go out and take the blame. Brother Da Feng, I'm Xiao Tongzi. The follower weakly dialed Brother Da Feng's number. Brother Dafeng was also anxiously waiting for the news. He didn't know if Lin Yi could deal with military counselor Zhuge. Although Lin Yi was full of confidence, military counselor Zhuge was still a heaven rank expert. Oh, little Tong, what's the matter? Big Brother Feng pretended to be calm, but he was extremely excited in his heart. In the past, it was absolutely impossible for Xiao Tongzi to call him. He had always been with military counselor Zhuge. How could he call Brother Dafeng? But this time, something must have happened. Big Brother Feng could only think of Military Counselor Zhuge. Only when Military Counselor Zhuge was in trouble would little Tongzi call him. Brother Dafeng, something happened. Military Advisor Zhuge is dead. Shouter Tongzi said with a sad face, he was beaten to death. Oh! Who would be so daring? He actually dared to kill Military Counselor Zhuge? Big Brother Feng flew into a rage. Could it be that he wants to go against our red conch? No, Military Counselor Zhuge asked for it. If he listened to Brother Dafeng and developed steadily, would he die? Shouter Tongzi gritted his teeth and made a final gamble. If Big Brother Feng heard his praise and could keep him by his side, then Shouter Tongzi might be able to get some errands to do. Otherwise, he would be finished when he returned to the headquarters. Oh! Why do you say that? Big Brother Feng asked calmly. Shouter Tongzi wasn't stupid. When he heard Big Brother Feng's question, he immediately understood that Big Brother Feng didn't mind him continuing, so he quickly said, in my opinion, although Military Counselor Zhuge came from the headquarters, he didn't understand the forces in the country at all. He wanted to be in the limelight and was overjoyed. What happened in the end? This time, he provoked a force that he couldn't afford to provoke. What could he do even if he was a heaven rank expert? That was an instant kill, killing him in one move. His bones and meridians were all broken. Isn't he courting death? What? Instant kill? Big Brother Feng was stunned. Although he felt that Lin Yi must have some confidence in killing Military Counselor Zhuge, the process shouldn't be simple. It should be extremely difficult, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to be able to kill Military Counselor Zhuge in one move. What level was Lin Yi now? Yes, instant kill. Shouter Tongzi naturally didn't know that Big Brother Feng knew Lin Yi. He continued, originally, Lai Changyi's company found an Earth-rank expert from the Wu family to make peace. However, Military Counselor Zhuge didn't give them face and crippled him. Now, he provoked the boss behind the Wu family's young master, and he killed him in one move. Who is the boss behind him? How is he so powerful? Big Brother Feng asked quickly. I don't know his name, but he's very young, in his early 20s. He's a little thin and doesn't look like a ruthless person. He's like a student, but when he makes a move, it's really ruthless. Shouter Tongzi was scared when he thought about it. Big Brother Feng took a deep breath. He could finally confirm that it was Lin Yi who did it, but why was Lin Yi so powerful? However, the more powerful Lin Yi was, the happier Big Brother Feng was. It proved that he didn't follow the wrong person. He's so powerful. If Military Counselor Zhuge provoked such a ruthless person, it would be strange if he didn't die. Big Brother Feng said faintly, this is the birthplace of ancient martial arts. It's different from foreign countries. There are many hidden masters here. If you don't provoke them, you might not see anything. But if you provoke them, trouble will come. Yes, I think so too. Sigh, but my words don't carry much weight. Plus, I followed Military Counselor Zhuge from the headquarters. Although I wanted to persuade him, Military Counselor Zhuge didn't listen to me. It's not good for me to secretly report to Big Brother Feng. I didn't expect Military Counselor Zhuge to lose his life. Big Brother Feng, I'm sorry, please punish me, Shouter Tongzi said. It's good to know your mistakes and correct them. You can be considered a smart person. Come back immediately. Let's discuss what to do about this matter. Big Brother Feng also saw that Shouter Tongzi wasn't stupid. He also needed such a person by his side, so he simply took him in. Shouter Tongzi was a person without any foundation. If he didn't follow Big Brother Feng, he would die if he returned to the headquarters. Chapter 2575. Lin Yi had used the 7th form of the fiery 8 trigrams palm, and his chi was pretty depleted. After Tongzi left, Lin Yi turned to Fatty Lai. Fatty Lai, stand guard at the door and don't disturb me. I'm going to heal Wu Chentian. It wasn't that Lin Yi didn't trust Fatty Lai, but that his weakness was too fatal. He couldn't reveal it to anyone other than Xinyan. If the enemy found out, he'd be done for. Fatty Lai was his trusted follower, but the fewer people who knew, the better. Yes. Fatty Lai didn't suspect anything and quickly left the guest room. Lin Yi, on the other hand, sat cross-legged beside Chen Tian, channeled the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, and started healing Chen Tian's wounds. However, Lin Yi didn't choose to heal Chen Tian all the time, stopping after a while to recover some qi before continuing. Chen Tian, naturally, didn't know what Lin Yi was doing. He thought that his wounds were too severe, and Lin Yi had to heal him in batches. The morning passed quickly, and at noon, Lin Yi and Chen Tian walked out of the room together, full of energy. Chen Tian's wounds were all healed, and Lin Yi had returned to his peak condition. Fatty Lai personally brought a chair and sat at the door, and Kang came as well. The two of them had a serious expression on their faces, like two door gods. Lin Yi laughed. "You two don't have to be so serious, do you? Why not? You're healing Chen Tian, bro. We'd be sinners if we weren't careful and didn't heal him," Fatty Lai said. "Boss, I've troubled you again. I wasted an entire morning," Chen Tian said, embarrassed. Chen Tian was a little embarrassed. He thought that his injuries were really serious this time, or with Lin Yi's healing speed, it wouldn't have taken this long. What he didn't know was that Lin Yi was healing himself as well. The two of them took turns. How could it not be slow? "Chen Tian, what are you talking about? You got injured because of my company. How is that trouble?" Lin Yi glared at him. "But next time something like this happens, you should eat a little rejuvenation pill first. Do you know how severe your wounds are? That advisor Zhuge didn't want to kill you, or you'd be dead already." "Hehe, I was going to eat it, but I saw you coming, boss, so I didn't." "Didn't I save a little rejuvenation pill?" Chen Tian laughed. Lin Yi was speechless. The little rejuvenation pill wasn't something. But thinking about it, it was something precious to Hao's Wu. Other than the one Lin Yi gave him, he didn't have any other way to buy it. "I'll make some more. Take them with you. Fatty Lai, Kang, you guys take them too. If you're about to die, I'll be able to get there in time with the little rejuvenation pill," Lin Yi said. "Thank you, boss," Chen Tian said gratefully. Lin Yi had to go back to class in the afternoon, so he didn't stay for long. After saying goodbye to Fatty Lai, Kang, and Chen Tian, he drove to Donghai Industry University. Yu Coiling Tiger came to school in high spirits, wanting to discuss the information exchange with Lin Yi. But when he arrived, he realized that Lin Yi didn't come to school again. This made him very depressed. "Han Jingjing, do you know where Lin Yi went?" Lin Yi wasn't back yet at noon. Yu Coiling Tiger couldn't wait any longer and went to ask Han Jingjing about Lin Yi's whereabouts. "I don't know." Han Jingjing closed the tablet in front of her, not letting Yu Coiling Tiger see what was on it. Yu Coiling Tiger wanted to see what was on Han Jingjing's tablet, but Han Jingjing wouldn't let him see, so he couldn't just rob it. He didn't have the guts to rob Boss Bai's class. He'd probably get Boss Bai's expulsion notice right after he did it. What about the conditions we agreed on yesterday? Did you tell Lin Yi? Did Lin Yi agree?" Yu Coiling Tiger asked. "I don't know. I didn't see Lin Yi, bro. You can ask him when he comes," Han Jingjing said. "So you're saying that Lin Yi didn't go back last night?" Yu Coiling Tiger frowned. "Did Lin Yi go somewhere far away? What should I do? I'm in a hurry. He came back, but he left in the morning. I didn't have time to tell him," Han Jingjing said. "Oh, that's good." Yu Coiling Tiger breathed a sigh of relief. He was about to go back and continue to wait, but when he looked up, he saw Lin Yi walk into the classroom. Yu Coiling Tiger was overjoyed, and his face suddenly showed an excited smile. "Student Lin Yi, you're back. Oh, why are you so excited to see me? I don't owe you money." Lin Yi knew what Yu Coiling Tiger was planning, but he still said it very calmly on the surface. Well, it's like this. I want to trade for the information Boss Bai gave you. I told Han Jingjing about the conditions and whatnot yesterday. Han Jingjing, can you tell Lin Yi about it?" Yu Coiling Tiger was afraid that Lin Yi would leave again later, so he didn't beat around the bush and directly expressed his intention. "Oh, Jingjing's memory isn't very good. What if I say too much?" Han Jingjing looked up innocently. "Then I'll say it." Yu Coiling Tiger was a little speechless. It turned out that what he said yesterday was really in vain. "Lin Yi, I've listed the conditions. I can give you a second-grade medicine cauldron, a set of casting materials for a third-grade medicine cauldron, and 5 sets of refining materials for third-grade elixirs. Oh. Lin Yi responded indifferently after listening. He didn't agree or disagree. Can you do it or not? Lin Yi, say something. Yu Coiling Tiger didn't know what Lin Yi meant. You're not sincere. Let's not talk anymore. We'll talk again when you're sincere, said Lin Yi. Don't, Lin Yi. How am I not sincere? Aren't the things I'm talking about good treasures? Is this not sincere? Yu Coiling Tiger said with some dissatisfaction. Other than a second-grade medicine cauldron, what else can be used? Casting materials for a third-grade medicine cauldron? Do you think I'm a blacksmith? As for the 5 sets of refining materials for third-grade elixirs, I don't have much use for them at the moment. I don't even have a medicine cauldron. What do I need materials for? Asked Lin Yi. Chapter 2576. I said what I want, but you don't have it. Lin Yi spread his hands and said helplessly, so if you are sincere in exchanging information with me, tell me what you have. I only have what I have before. Yu Coiling Tiger really couldn't say anything else. These were the things he could decide on. The other treasures were hidden in the Yu family. How could he take them out so easily? Oh, if that's the case, then don't talk about it. Lin Yi said. Don't. Look at the other conditions. As long as it's not a finished third-grade elixir or a third-grade medicine cauldron, you can ask for anything else. Yu Coiling Tiger was anxious and quickly stopped Lin Yi. I really don't need anything else. Aren't you forcing me to buy and sell? Lin Yi looked at Yu Coiling Tiger with some displeasure. I'm not forcing you to buy and sell. I just want you to bid. Yu Coiling Tiger said. How about this? Double your conditions, then it's a deal. Otherwise, forget it. Lin Yi said. Ah, double? Yu Coiling Tiger was shocked. I'm at a loss even if I double it. The only useful things you can offer are 2 second-grade medicine cauldrons. What's the use of the other things in hiding in the Yu family? Lin Yi curled his lips. Then I'll ask Grandpa. Yu Coiling Tiger thought about it. The third-grade medicine cauldrons and third-grade elixir materials were hidden in the Yu family. His grandfather was just a second-grade alchemist. He couldn't refine third-grade elixir at all. What do you want for third-grade elixir materials? 3 recover pills, 3 ice heart jadebone pills, and 4 chi gathering pills. Lin Yi said. Ice heart jadebone pill? What's that? Yu Coiling Tiger was slightly stunned. He had heard of the recover pill and the chi gathering pill, but he had never heard of the ice heart jadebone pill. Although he was also an alchemist, there were many types of elixirs. Other than some commonly used elixirs, Yu Coiling Tiger naturally didn't know about the others. Especially the ice heart jadebone pill, which was a very targeted elixir. He had never come into contact with it. It was normal that he didn't know about it. Oh, I'll give you the recipe. You just have to go back and make it. Lin Yi said. The Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill was actually only useful for people like Miss Rock Candy. It was not very useful for others, so it didn't matter if the recipe was leaked. Even if the Yu family got this recipe, they couldn't exchange it for money. All right. Right Coiling Tiger nodded and had Lin Yi write down the pill recipe. In fact, besides the 2 second-grade medicine cauldrons, the other things weren't too big of a problem in Right Coiling Tiger's eyes. Although the materials for third-grade medicine cauldrons and third-grade pills were very precious, there were almost no people who could use them. The materials for third-grade pills were a bit better, but the materials for third-grade medicine cauldrons were basically useless. Even if the materials of third-grade elixirs were useful, only the patriarch of the Heavenly Elixir sect could use them to refine elixirs, and how many times could the patriarch of the Heavenly Elixir sect refine third-grade elixirs in a year? Naturally, there were more materials and fewer pills. Right Coiling Tiger took Lin Yi's recipe and left the classroom to ask for instructions. Meanwhile, Lin Yi sat in front of Han Jingjing and next to Wang Xinyan. Is everything done? Wang Xinyan waited for Lin Yi and Right Coiling Tiger to finish talking before asking. Yes, it's fine. Lin Yi nodded. He had been busy since yesterday, and the things on hand had piled up. Originally, Lin Yi wanted to study the hidden Zhuang family's joint attack technique, but he ran out early in the morning and didn't have the time to look at the Zhuang family's technique. If the technique could really be used, then it wouldn't be a dream for Han Jingjing to refine a third-grade elixir. Wang Xinyan nodded and didn't say anything else. She read her book quietly, but her heart wasn't calm. She was getting closer to Lin Yi, and Zhaolong was aware of it. Zhaolong hadn't done anything drastic yet, and he seemed to have disappeared after the winter trip. But Wang Xinyan was worried that Zhaolong might be plotting something even bigger. Xinyan's mind was a mess, and she couldn't focus on her book. "I'll take a nap. I'm a little sleepy," Xinyan said, her head a mess. "Okay." Lin Yi noticed that Wang Xinyan had been sleeping a lot lately. She didn't use to take naps in the past, but now it was a common thing. Lin Yi found it strange, but Xinyan's body wasn't very healthy. Maybe it was because of this. After a while, Right Coiling Tiger walked into the classroom again. He was about to speak loudly when Lin Yi stopped him. "Xinyan's asleep. Keep your voice down if you want to trade, or get the hell out of here." "Ah. Okay, Lin Yi, my grandpa agrees to your request. But I only have one second-grade cauldron left, and the higher-ups haven't given us the quota for this year. I can only give you one, and I'll give you an IOU for the other one. What do you think?" Right Coiling Tiger asked. "That won't do. What if you don't want to pay after making a copy? You give me the money, and I'll give you the goods, or there's no need to talk," Lin Yi said firmly. "Then what do we do? We only have these things at home. Why are you so inflexible? Can't you be flexible? Why don't you ask Boss Bai to be a witness? Do you think I'll blackmail you?" Right Coiling Tiger said helplessly. "You still want to trade for the information from Boss Bai?" Lin Yi asked back. "This." Right Coiling Tiger thought about it and agreed. If Boss Bai was willing to give him the information, he wouldn't have to go through the trouble of exchanging through Lin Yi. So he said, "I want another cauldron. I'll give you something else as a substitute. How about it?" Something else. Lin Yi really couldn't think of a substitute at the moment. He thought about it and said, "Then how about another set of materials for a third-grade cauldron?" "This. I don't have it for now." Right Coiling Tiger's face darkened. "2 sets are leftovers. Our family's extra materials for third-grade cauldron were all given to the Heavenly Elixir sect for research. If you want to get them back, you have to wait for a chance. Fuck, if you don't have it here, if you don't have it there, then what do you have?" Lin Yi finally thought of one, but Right Coiling Tiger didn't have it yet. "How about this? Don't you want 10 sets of materials for third-grade elixirs? How about this? I'll give you 12 sets, 4 of each, how about it?" Right Coiling Tiger saw that Lin Yi really didn't lack anything else, and what he wanted was materials for a third-grade cauldron, so he used the materials for other elixirs as a substitute. Chapter 2577. If Panhu Right knew what Lin Yi was thinking, he'd probably vomit blood. He'd only promised 2 portions to shut Lin Yi's mouth, so that Lin Yi could take the advantage and finish the deal as soon as possible. It wasn't because the ingredients weren't valuable. Of course, whether it was valuable or not depended on what it was compared to. In the eyes of the Hidden Yu family, the materials for refining a third-grade elixir were naturally not as valuable as a second-grade cauldron. This was because the materials for refining a third-grade elixir were useless. Even the Heavenly Elixir sect had piles of them. There were a lot of ingredients in the herb garden every year, and unless they were extremely rare or heaven-defying ingredients, they could still collect a lot of ingredients for normal third-rank pills. Of course, it depended on who they were compared to. If they were compared to an ancient sect or ancient house, then these ingredients would be very valuable as well. The Heavenly Elixir School was able to cultivate in large quantities because they had a special spiritual land, so the output of these medicinal materials was very high. However, the number of heaven-defying medicinal materials was not high. Even the Heavenly Elixir School had to buy them from places like the Snow Valley. "Alright, it's settled then. I'll get someone to prepare it now. We should be able to gather everything by the end of today's school. We'll hand over the goods at the same time. You'd better make a copy first to save yourself some trouble," Panhu Right reminded. Xinyan slept all the way until the second afternoon class, and was woken up by Lin Yi when Boss Bai entered the classroom. There was no class in the first afternoon, and it was self-study. Those who were willing to come could come to the classroom, and those who didn't could go straight back to the dorms after lunch. I slept for so long. Xinyan didn't think that she'd slept for 2 hours. She thought she'd only slept for half an hour. Haha, didn't you rest well last night? Lin Yi smiled, not minding it. No, I slept really well. I woke up at 8 in the morning, and I didn't even have breakfast. Xinyan said, a little embarrassed. Then maybe you're in hibernation. Lin Yi joked. Idiot. Xinyan gave Lin Yi a light kick. Only animals hibernate. Humans are also a type of animal, Lin Yi said. If you don't believe me, you can ask Teacher Bai. You're going against me on purpose. I won't let you cultivate anymore, Xinyan said angrily. Then you're not an animal. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He's dead if he doesn't move, Mph. Xinyan turned her head away, ignoring Lin Yi. Xinyan was a little drowsy today. She'd dreamt that she'd gone to the theme park with Lin Yi, so she couldn't help but joke with Lin Yi a little. Normally, Xinyan would have been worried about what Zhaolong thought. Haha. Lin Yi noticed that Xinyan was quite nice today, too. She didn't feel like she was 1,000 miles away from him. Xinyan used to talk to Lin Yi and interact with Lin Yi, but she was always on guard against something. Even sleeping in the same bed with Lin Yi didn't feel comfortable. Wanna come to my house tonight? Ah. Xinyan paused and turned to glare at Lin Yi. Sure, Lin Yi came back too late and didn't go to school, so Xinyan was too embarrassed to wait for Lin Yi with Meng Yaro and Chai Xiaoling. That night, she was interrogated by He Maiyu and Chai Xiaoling, asking if she'd gone out to get a room. Xinyan had no choice but to lie, saying that she was staying at a relative's house. He Maiyu wanted to visit Xinyan's relative, so Xinyan didn't know what to say. But today, when Lin Yi invited her, Wang Xinyan somehow agreed. She was a little conflicted after that, wondering how she was going to explain this to He Maiyu and Xiaoling when she got back. She couldn't go to a relative's house that often, could she? She could have just said that she was sick and needed some rest, but now that she was fine, it was just a little drowsy. There was no point in going to a relative's house. Besides, Xinyan would fall asleep the moment she got back to her room. She didn't have time to do anything else. If she went to a relative's house just to sleep, then what was the point? Ah, whatever. Xinyan sighed and took out her textbook, focusing on the lesson. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't notice Xinyan's expression. He was channeling the second stage of the art of dragon mastery while Lin Yi took out the combination practitioner's arts he'd gotten from the hidden Zhuang house and started studying it. This combination practitioner's arts was quite skillful. Lin Yi came to this conclusion after a few glances. It was something passed down from the ancient times, after all. It wasn't as powerful as the art of dragon mastery, but it was still very powerful. This practitioner's arts had a few levels, but Lin Yi didn't know the specifics. The hidden Zhuang house only had the first 2 levels, and he didn't know if the rest were lost, or if they didn't bring it out from the everyday and everyday sect, or if they only had 2 levels. Because Lin Yi was using the art of dragon mastery to look at other practitioners' arts, he felt that there should be a few levels. In fact, most practitioners only had 1 level, like Wu Chengyao. They could slowly increase their strength, but they only had 1 practitioner's arts. The first level was the Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang's arts. It required 2 people to practice it together, and when 2 people practiced it together, they could stack their strengths. So 2 Earth class early phase peak masters together were basically invincible under Sky class. But while this art seemed to be heaven-defying, it had a flaw. If it was a solo practitioner, their combat strength would be greatly reduced, and they would be weaker than other practitioners of the same level. As long as the opponent's arts and techniques weren't too trashy, they would be able to win against either one of them. As a result, the 2's individual combat skills were much lower. Lin Yi also understood why Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao didn't participate in the individual fights at the Hidden House's summit. It was the other disciples of the Hidden House who participated, and they only appeared in the double fights at the end. Chapter 2578. Losing a lot of strength wasn't too scary for Lin Yi. As long as he had time, Lin Yi would be able to recover. Of course, It wouldn't work if he was in a dangerous situation. It could only be used when there was no one to disturb him. Looking at the second level, the so-called second level was actually a 3-person joint attack technique. From 2 people to 3 people, the strength of the original 2-in-1 became 3-in-1. If there were 3 early-stage peak Earth-class masters stacked together, they would probably be able to reach Sky-class. Fighting against a Sky-class early-stage master wouldn't be a problem. Of course, some people would think that the power of 2 early-stage peak Earth-class masters combined could reach the peak of late-stage peak Earth-class. Then how could 3 early-stage Earth-class masters who had just reached Sky-class and could only fight against a Sky-class early-stage master? In fact, this was easy to understand. Every time a practitioner leveled up, the amount of Jin Qi needed would increase. It was just like the experience bar in a game. The higher the level, the slower the experience bar would increase, and the more experience needed. On the other hand, a 3-person joint attack technique didn't have as many disadvantages. It could be compatible. In a 3-person team, as long as 2 people worked together, as long as they used the first level, they could still use a 2-person joint attack technique. Although the power would be reduced, it would still be invincible in a 2-person battle. As for training alone, the disadvantages were even greater. It was equivalent to dividing all the true qi in the body of the person who cultivated the mental cultivation method into 2 and adding it to the 2 people who did not cultivate the mental cultivation method. Then, the other 2 people would join forces and form a state of 2 people attacking together. Both of them would have the strength after superimposing. Only the person who cultivated the mental cultivation method would be miserable. As long as the mental cultivation method stopped operating, he would directly become an ordinary person. However, there was also a disadvantage. It was fine if the other 2 people didn't train in the joint attack technique, but they had to train in the same type of technique. Otherwise, the Jin Qi wouldn't be able to be stacked, and there would be a situation where the Jin Qi would repel each other. Other than Lin Yi, there wouldn't be anyone else who'd train in this sort of shitty practitioner's arts by themselves, unless they were stupid. Lin Yi was also a little speechless. If it wasn't for his art of dragon mastery, then Lin Yi wouldn't dare to try this abnormal technique. Lin Yi didn't think that the benefits of the second floor were useful to him at the moment. The first floor was enough for him, because he and Han Jingjing only needed 2 people to concoct the elixir. Another person, unless it was someone he trusted, would ruin the process. Not only would he fail to concoct the elixir, but he'd also die. One had to know that after Lin Yi stopped the technique, he would become a normal person. If there was someone with bad intentions, Lin Yi would be dead with 1 palm. Although, Lin Yi was sure that with his strength, after training in the second level of the joint attack technique, he could find another Earth-stage alchemist to work with Han Jingjing to refine pills. Lin Yi would increase their strength. In this way, the chances of refining a 3rd-grade pill would be greatly increased. Maybe he could even directly refine a 3rd-grade pill. However, among the alchemists that Lin Yi knew, there was really no one else other than Yu Pan Hu. To ask him to cooperate, Lin Yi might as well commit suicide. Shaking his head, Lin Yi stopped the second level of the art of dragon mastery and began to try to practice the first level of the joint attack technique. However, just as Lin Yi started to practice the joint attack technique, his face changed. It couldn't be practice. Lin Yi was shocked to find that not only could this technique not be practiced, but the art of dragon mastery in his body actually started to work on its own, rejecting the joint attack technique. It felt like water and fire were incompatible. Lin Yi originally thought that he would be very special. The art of dragon mastery was a universal technique and could be compatible with other techniques. However, he didn't expect that he would be the same as others. After practicing one technique, he couldn't practice other techniques. Otherwise, there would be a situation of rejection. Could it be that he had to abolish the art of dragon mastery in order to practice the joint attack technique? Lin Yi didn't dare to try it easily. If he abolished it and couldn't cultivate it back, then Lin Yi would really suffer a great loss. Although the joint attack technique was heaven-defying, without the art of dragon mastery, why would Lin Yi cultivate it? Without the art of dragon mastery, he wouldn't be able to recover his lost strength. As a result, Lin Yi shook his head decisively and gave up on the idea of studying the joint attack technique. It seemed like trickery wasn't going to work. Putting away the joint attack technique, Lin Yi once again activated the second level of the art of dragon mastery, using Xinyan's fragrance to train. It was school time in the blink of an eye, and Coiling Tiger excitedly took everything Lin Yi needed from a hidden disciple of the right house. He ran straight to Lin Yi's seat and sat down, putting the things in his hands on Lin Yi's desk. Take a look, it's all here. We'll hand over the money. Where's the money? Lin Yi asked. What money? Coiling Tiger paused. Didn't you say we'll hand over the money? Lin Yi asked. Fuck. You're not trying to scam me out of money, are you, Lin Yi? Coiling Tiger said, shocked. I'm telling you, you can't go back on your word. These are the terms we've agreed on, and I don't have the money. If you don't want to, you'll have to. Ha ha. Lin Yi smiled as he looked at Tiger. Right, he thought the guy was going to say if you don't want to trade. He didn't expect it to be you have to trade. Where's the information? Coiling Tiger extended his hand. Let me check first. Lin Yi opened the box on the table. There was a second-grade cauldron inside. Coiling Tiger had given Lin Yi one before, and Lin Yi didn't find any problems with it. As for the materials for the third-grade cauldron, Lin Yi didn't know what was in it. He just roughly checked it. Coiling Tiger shouldn't be lying, and he didn't know if Lin Yi knew. As for the materials for the third-grade elixir, Lin Yi only knew the materials for the Qi-gathering pill. As for the Ice Heart Jade Heart pill and the Great Recover pill, although Lin Yi knew the elixir recipes, he didn't know some of the materials. However, the materials for the Qi-gathering pill were correct, so there shouldn't be any problems. Are you done checking? Don't worry, there's nothing missing. I, Coiling Tiger, still have this bit of credibility. There's no need to look so carefully. Coiling Tiger thought that Lin Yi still wanted to check the quality of the herbs, so he was a little anxious. All right, Jing Jing, give him the information, Lin Yi said. Chapter 2579. Panhu Yu didn't have time to deal with the text on his phone. Instead, he stared straight at Han Jingjing. Seeing that she was still fiddling with the tablet in her hand and not giving him the information, Panhu Yu became a little anxious. I say, Han Jingjing, can you look at your tablet later? Give me the information first. I did. Han Jingjing put down the tablet, her watery eyes shining with innocence. You did. Coiling Tiger right paused. When did you give it to me? No matter how bad my memory is, it's impossible for me to forget what happened a few seconds ago. I'm Coiling Tiger right, not Elder Yu. Who's Elder Yu? Han Jingjing looked at Coiling Tiger right curiously. Nothing, just a tragic character in a novel. Don't worry about that, give me the information. Coiling Tiger right was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't give him the information. I really gave it to you, I sent it to your mailbox. Didn't your phone say you got a text just now? You're deaf. Han Jingjing said innocently. Coiling Tiger right took out his phone and glanced at it. There really was an email, and he opened it. It was indeed a scanned version of the information. He looked at it carefully. It was information he'd never seen before, but he still flipped through the pages cautiously, afraid that Lin Yi would lie to him and leave out a few pages in the middle. He wouldn't be able to find them when he got back. These were all pictures. What if Lin Yi said he deleted them himself? He finished carefully and found that there were pages missing, but Coiling Tiger right was afraid that it wasn't complete. He said, Lin Yi, compare the original version to me. I want to see how many pages there are at the end. You're so nosy. Lin Yi took out the original version from his bag and handed it to Coiling Tiger right. Coiling Tiger right's face darkened as he took the information, and only returned it to Lin Yi after confirming that there were no problems. He laughed dryly. I'm not doubting you, but you checked it so carefully before, so I have to do the same, don't I? Both of us won't lose out this way, and we'll continue trading in the future. Goodbye. Lin Yi picked up the box and left the classroom with Han Jingjing. Wang Xinyan was embarrassed, so she left first, waiting for Lin Yi in the parking lot. Coiling Tiger right curled his lips at Lin Yi's attitude, and left the classroom excitedly with his phone. He had to rush back to the hidden house Yu as soon as possible and show this information to his grandpa. However, sometimes, extreme joy turned to sorrow. The more Yu Panhu held the phone carefully, afraid that he would lose it in his pocket and break it, the more trouble he would have. Just as Yu Panhu walked out of the teaching building and was about to go to the parking lot to look for the yellow-haired and purple-haired siblings, a motorcycle sped over. Yu Panhu was caught off guard and snatched the phone from his hand, then sped away. Fuck. Yu Coiling Tiger immediately panicked and chased after it. But although he was also a cultivator, he cultivated alchemy. It was fine for him to strengthen his body, but it wasn't good enough for him to fight or run. After a few steps, the motorcycle disappeared into the distance. Coiling Tiger Right was about to explode. Motherfucker, his previous phone was stolen by a bunch of real robbers, and he just got a new high-end smartphone model. He didn't even understand how to use it before it was stolen. Of course, it wasn't just the phone that made his heart ache, but the contents of the phone. The previous phone was filled with messy videos of him looking for women, so it didn't matter if it was lost. But this phone contained alchemy information. If he didn't know that Lin Yi wouldn't do such a dirty thing, he would have thought that the robber was sent by Lin Yi, because it was too much of a coincidence. Coiling Tiger Right panicked. He didn't dare to tell his grandpa, afraid that he'd be scolded, so he could only brace himself and call Zhao Qibing, the local boss of Donghai. Zhao Qibing heard that Coiling Tiger Right had lost his phone and wanted to get it back, but he paused. How much could a phone cost? Was it worth so much to get it back? He asked curiously, can't you just buy another one? What's the point? Master Bing, you don't know, but there's something important in my phone, Coiling Tiger Right said helplessly. If it wasn't for the alchemist's information, why would he ask for it? Oh. Zhao Qibing paused, then smiled lewdly. I understand. Is it a XX video of you and your girlfriend? And your girlfriend is from a prestigious family, so you can't leak it out? Something like that. Coiling Tiger Right was speechless, too lazy to explain. Alright, tell me the model and color of the phone, and I'll help you find out about the thief organization in Donghai, Zhao Qibing said. But, you have to promise me one thing. Coiling Tiger Right was just about to thank him when he heard the second half of Zhao Qibing's words. It seemed like he wasn't helping for free, wasn't he taking advantage of him? But Coiling Tiger Right didn't have a choice. He had to get his phone back. What is it? Get Lin Yi to break my legs, Zhao Qibing said. What? You want to break Lin Yi's legs? And you want my help? Coiling Tiger Right was shocked. Fuck off, I'm not looking to die. I don't want my phone anymore. No, you heard wrong, Zhao Qibing quickly said. I want Lin Yi to break my legs, not his. Break your legs. Coiling Tiger Right paused. Are you sure? Or did I hear wrong? You're not mistaken. I want Lin Yi to break my legs, and you create an opportunity for me. What do you think? Zhao Qibing said. Phut. Coiling Tiger Right was stunned. Zhao Qibing, are you having a fever? No, just tell me if it's okay or not. Don't care so much. You're the second young master of House Yu, and you're looking for a phone. Can't I do something unexpected? Zhao Qibing asked back. That's true, alright, I can help you with this. From Coiling Tiger Right's perspective, this was a very simple request. Getting Lin Yi to break Zhao Qibing's legs was nothing to Lin Yi, it was as easy as lifting a finger. As a classmate, if he begged Lin Yi should be able to agree, right? Alright, it's a deal. Wait for my call, Zhao Qibing replied. Alright. Coiling Tiger Right let out a breath of relief after the call. It would be great if he could find the phone as soon as possible. Red Conch, Qing Run City's branch, Little Tongzi carefully stood beside Dafeng Bro, while Dafeng Bro looked at strategist Zhuge's corpse with a sorrowful expression. Chapter 2580. Logically speaking, the death of the military counselor was a big deal. As the head of the branch, Dafeng had an unshirkable responsibility. After all, Military Counselor Zhuge was not an ordinary person. He was the military counselor of the headquarters, and his backer was one of the people in charge of the headquarters. Although this protector did not have a high status as an elder, he was also one of Military Counselor Zhuge's people. Although the elder came down with the intention of protecting Big Brother Feng, the person in charge obviously didn't want the elder to hide anything, so he sent a protector to supervise the elder to see if he was practicing favoritism. What happened? Dafeng. It's reasonable to say that our headquarters' support for you isn't small. We promoted you to leader and even sent a heaven-rank military advisor to help you hold the fort. What happened to you? He sent Counselor Zhuge to his death. The elder's words seemed fair, but in fact, he was very clear about Big Brother Feng's position in the branch. How could an Earth-rank early-stage master suppress a Heaven-rank early-stage master? It would be fine if this Heaven-stage initial stage expert was just a hired thug, but the key was that he was sent by the headquarters. He was originally the military advisor of the headquarters, so Big Brother Feng couldn't do anything to him. Elder Su, I'm sorry. I failed to live up to the headquarters' trust. Big Brother Feng lowered his head. In front of outsiders, his attitude was very humble. Humph. Dafeng, do you know your crimes? Strategist Zhuge was a Heaven stage expert. Even in our headquarters, a Heaven stage expert is an extremely precious existence. We sent one to you, but you still killed him? I don't think you can atone for your crimes even if you die. The protector jumped out at this time and pointed at Big Brother Feng angrily. He and military counselor Zhuge were both under the command of the person in charge of the headquarters, so he naturally wanted to seek justice for military counselor Zhuge. You can't blame Brother Dafeng for this. Xiao Tongzi timely blushed and couldn't help but jump out. What does this have to do with Brother Dafeng? Little Tong, what right do you have to speak here? Shut up. Just as the protector was about to reprimand Xiao Tong for not knowing the rules, he didn't expect Big Brother Feng to reprimand him first, so he couldn't take this opportunity to make things difficult for him. However, Elder Su narrowed his eyes and a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. He snorted and said, Dafeng, why don't you let Little Tongzi speak? Are you trying to hide something? Xiao Tongzi was one of the parties involved, so he has the most say. Am I right, Protector Chen? Protector Chen also frowned. Although he didn't know the truth of the matter, he knew that Big Brother Feng absolutely wouldn't order military counselor Zhuge. He also knew military counselor Zhuge's character. How could he submit to Big Brother Feng? He came here just to vent his anger. Since Brother Dafeng had the intention to admit his mistake, then it was not impossible to let him be the scapegoat. He didn't expect that Xiao Tongzi, who followed military counselor Zhuge, would jump out from the headquarters. However, since Elder Su said so, what else could Guardian Chen say? He could only say, that's right. Little Tongzi, what do you know? Tell me. Yes. Elder Su, Protector Chen, actually, Big Brother Feng has been wronged. Once Xiao Tongzi came up, he started to complain, although I'm just a small fry who came down from the headquarters with military advisor Zhuge, the two of you should be more familiar with military advisor Zhuge's temper than me, right? When he came here, he did not listen to Brother Da Feng's orders at all. Relying on his Heaven stage expert, he directly overthrew Brother Da Feng's authority. Then, he started to do some radical and brainless things. Little Tongzi, what are you doing? Military advisor Zhuge is already dead. Why are you still slandering him? Brother Da Feng reprimanded Little Tongzi timely when Protector Chen was about to scold him. Brother Da Feng, let me speak. I believe that with Elder Su and Protector Chen, these two wise people, they will definitely know whether I'm right or wrong. Don't scare me. With them supporting me, I'm not afraid of you suppressing me in the future, Little Tongzi said passionately. Protector Chen was speechless for a while. He thought to himself, I'm not supporting you. However, if I object at this time, isn't it equivalent to admitting that I'm not wise? He could only remain silent. Elder Su, on the other hand, looked at Brother Da Feng in surprise. He came in a hurry and didn't have the chance to contact Brother Da Feng alone. He was also afraid that if he contacted Brother Da Feng alone, it would fall into the eyes of others and bring trouble to him when he sided with Brother Da Feng. However, what he didn't expect was that Brother Da Feng seemed to have arranged everything. Dafeng, let him finish speaking. Elder Su humphed coldly. From now on, whoever interrupts Little Tongzi's speech means that they have a guilty conscience. Yes. Brother Da Feng quickly responded, but he was ecstatic. Thank you, Elder Su. Xiao Tongzi hurriedly thanked him and continued, Strategist Zhuge thinks that is very impressive. He wanted to scam a pharmaceutical company and get them to help transport the drugs. Brother Dafeng also advised him that he doesn't understand the situation here. There are many powerful forces, such as aristocratic families, secular aristocratic families, ancient sects, and so on. They are not to be trifled with, so he told him not to advance rashly. However, he did not listen to Brother Darfing at all and acted on his own. As he spoke, little Tongzi told him about how military advisor Zhuge wanted Fatty Lai's miracle doctor Guan Pharmaceutical Company to transport drugs, and how Lin Yi killed military advisor Zhuge with one palm. He didn't change much in the details, but he deliberately emphasized how powerful Lin Yi was. One palm, killed a sky-class master? This time, even Guardian Chen's eyes widened. He knew that military advisor Zhuge was blind and provoked a force that he shouldn't have provoked. He more or less understood the structure of the forces here. A family with a sky-class master was at least a hidden noble house, but a sky-class master who could easily kill a sky-class master was usually from the ancient era. It wasn't an injustice that military advisor Zhuge died after provoking an ancient force. Not to mention the Red Conches, even the Fire Wolf Gang wouldn't easily start a war with the ancient sects. In the end, both sides would suffer great losses. Da Feng, it seems like I've wronged you. Elder Su nodded and made the final decision with one sentence. It seems that our headquarter didn't consider it thoroughly at that time. We neglected the personal strength and character of military counselor Zhuge. We originally wanted to send him to help you, but we didn't expect the situation to turn out like this. We almost made a powerful enemy for ourselves. Fortunately, this master didn't want to kill us, or else we wouldn't be able to survive in the country. Chapter 2581. Translator, Mr. Voltaire. Editor. Modlaws 123. Elder Su and Enforcer Chen left Qingrun City with advisor Zhuge's body. Big Brother Feng patted Xiao Tong's shoulder. Good job. Follow me from now on. Yes. Thank you, Big Brother Feng. Xiao Tongzi knew that his performance today had completely passed the test. Not only was Brother Darfeng fine, but he was also fine. Everything was caused by military advisor Zhuge. After Elder Su and Protector Chen returned, they reported the matter to the three leaders of the Red Conch. After the three leaders heard about the matter, they also felt that it was too reckless to send military advisor Zhuge. However, the one who made this suggestion was the third leader, who was military advisor Zhuge's backer. At that time, he wanted to let military advisor Zhuge get some benefits. He sent military advisor Zhuge to make Big Brother Darfeng a figurehead so that he could control the branch in the country. However, no one expected things to be so complicated. Not long after military advisor Zhuge went there, he provoked a force that was suspected to be no weaker than the ancient forces and was instantly killed. Of course, although this was unfortunate, there was nothing he could do about it. He could only blame General Zhuge for making a move without investigating the situation. The third leader could only say, I was the one who suggested for General Zhuge to help Darfeng. I was also afraid that an Earth-class master from Darfeng wouldn't be able to handle the situation, but I didn't expect it to backfire. Forget it. The first leader naturally understood the third leader's intention. However, Darfeng's backer was only Elder Su, not the three leaders. Therefore, the first leader didn't stop it at that time. Now that something had happened, he naturally couldn't blame the third leader. I think we shouldn't rashly send people over. Darfeng is more familiar with that side. His strength is low, but he has always been very stable. Therefore, I think we should let him take the responsibility alone. I agree. The third leader quickly said. Things had already turned out like this. If they sent someone else, who would dare to go? Not to mention that Lin Yi might come looking for trouble at any time. With advisor Zhuge's death as an example, no one else would take the risk to die. Elder Su narrowed his eyes slightly. Although Big Brother Da Feng might have some trouble in the future, letting Big Brother Da Feng take charge was also beneficial to him, so he naturally did not object. After the three leaders confirmed it, he informed Big Brother Da Feng of the good news. However, the three leaders also warned Darfeng Bro not to provoke Lin Yi and Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. Don't even think about revenge. It'd be great if you could rope them in, but don't force them if they didn't want to accept it. The three leaders were all Heaven Stage Masters, so they could tell at a glance that military counselor Zhuge's injury was caused by a martial art skill. The person who could activate this kind of martial art skill was definitely a ruthless person, and there might be a more powerful person behind him. The three leaders were not stupid enough to take revenge. The Red Conches had always prioritized benefits. As for revenge, only the three brothers in charge of the domestic branch could do it. The others were still very indifferent. Even the third leader had never thought about avenging military councillor Zhuge. He only thought about how to avoid getting himself involved in this matter. Red Conches made a huge enemy out of nowhere because of military councillor Zhuge. It was fine if this enemy didn't make a move, but if he did, could the third leader escape the responsibility? After Dafeng Bro received the good news, his admiration for Lin Yi grew like a raging river. Dafeng Bro decided that Lin Yi was most likely going to destroy Red Conches in the future. When that time came, he would retire and follow Lin Yi as a follower. So, he planned to do less evil things in the future and accumulate more virtue, just in case Lin Yi didn't want him in the future. As for Zhao Qibing, although the Hidden House Zhao's power in Donghai had been declining with Lin Yi's arrival, the Hidden House Han was slowly making its voice heard in Donghai. Of course, everyone knew that they were Lin Yi's spokespeople. Even the Hidden House Zhao knew that, but there was nothing they could do about it. Elder Bai was still half dead when he suddenly heard that Lin Yi had killed a Red Conches Sky Class. Only a few people knew about this, but it wasn't a secret in the world of practitioners. Lin Yi didn't think that the news would spread so fast. Because Lin Yi didn't tell Chen Tian to keep it a secret. The more the news spread, the better it would be for Lin Yi. This was a very important period for Lin Yi, and Lin Yi could only continue to scare the people in his path so that they wouldn't dare to act rashly. By the time they reacted, he'd already be standing on top of them, and they wouldn't have a chance to retaliate. Chen Tian, Gongao, Pai Zhishan, Han Xiaopa, and the others shared Lin Yi's achievements. These people naturally spread the news, and soon, even the Hidden House Zhao knew about it. Zhao Qibing found the thief group, as well as the thief who stole Yu Coiling Tiger's phone. With the thief and phone, he went to Coiling Tiger to show off his achievements. In fact, the reason why he did this was because he wanted Coiling Tiger to let Lin Yi break his leg. Yu Coiling Tiger was very excited when Zhao Qibing found his phone, but when he took it and saw that there was nothing inside, he panicked. Where's the data? Where's the data? Don't worry, Master Yu, the data won't be leaked. When I found this kid, he was swiping the phone on his computer, and the data was all erased. Your XX video can't be leaked. Zhao Qibing said Fuck your grandma's video. Right. Coiled Tiger was so angry that he threw his phone at the thief's face, and his face was instantly covered in blood. XX video? Zhao Qibing paused. Master Yu, your taste is really heavy. Heavy my ass. Can't you tell that I'm swearing? Yu Coiling Tiger didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Master Bing, what I want is the data in the phone. It's very important, it's a document. This. Why didn't you say so earlier? I didn't know. Zhao Qibing shook his head, but you promised me that you'd help me find Lin Yi to break my leg. You can't go back on your word. I don't care if you want it or not. I found the phone for you. Fine. Isn't it just asking Lin Yi to break your leg? I'll help you. Yu Coiling Tiger didn't deny it. In fact, he didn't think it was a big deal. Chapter 2582. Alright, I'll definitely create a chance for you. Yu Panhu waved his hand weakly and picked up his phone from the floor. He dialed Lin Yi's number. Luckily, he remembered Lin Yi's number or he would have erased his contact book. The only good thing was that the SIM card was still there. Lin Yi had just finished dinner with the girls when he returned to the villa. He was cooking medicine for Wang Xinyan when his phone rang. It was Yu Panhu's number. He picked it up. Yu Panhu, what's up? That. Lin Yi classmate, do you want to have fun? Yu Panhu wasn't stupid. He wouldn't say that he lost the information and wanted to get another copy. There was an 80% chance that Lin Yi wouldn't give it to him. He changed his method. Are you crazy? I'm busy. Do you have something to say? If not, I'm hanging up. Lin Yi said, confused. Don't. Wait. Yu Panhu quickly said, Lin Yi, don't hang up yet. I have something to say. Just say it, Lin Yi said. It's like this, Lin Yi, do you want to beat Zhao Qibing up? I heard that you and Zhao Chibing have a conflict. I can give you a chance. Yu Panhu tempted. No, I'm hanging up if there's nothing else. Lin Yi hung up. Fuck. This didn't make sense. Yu Panhu looked at the phone in his hand. He hesitated and dialed again. Lin Yi, don't hang up yet. Listen to me first. Oh, go ahead. Lin Yi continued cooking medicine for Wang Xinyan. It's not a waste of my phone bill. You can beat Zhao Chibing up. For example, break his legs. I promise he won't fight back. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to send me the information you gave me before. How's that? Isn't that great? Right Coiling Tiger originally wanted to extort something from Lin Yi, but seeing that Lin Yi wasn't interested, he could only lower his demands. He only wanted information. Break his legs. Lin Yi was slightly taken aback, but then he smiled and said, You don't even want to give me money, and you want me to give you something? Are you dreaming? If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Bye. Right Coiling Tiger frowned. He felt strange. Logically speaking, it was fun to let Lin Yi break Zhao Chibing's legs. If Lin Yi asked him to beat him up for free, he would do it without hesitation, even if he had to spend money, but Lin Yi rejected it. And he said he wouldn't call even if I paid him? Yu Coiling Tiger felt that things were not as simple as he had imagined. His idea of exchanging for information was no longer feasible. Left with no choice, Yu Panhu dialed Lin Yi's number again. Right Coiling Tiger, are you done yet? If you have more money, then top up my phone bill. Lin Yi said impatiently. Sure, I have more money. How much will I top up? As long as you send me another copy of the previous information, I'll top up for you. Right Coiling Tiger said. Top up 1 million and I'll give you the information. Lin Yi hung up immediately. 1 million? Right Coiling Tiger clicked his tongue. That was quite a lot. However, this amount of money was really nothing to the second young master of House Yu. It was just that this money was a bit of a scam. He lost his phone, and he lost 1 million. How could he be so unlucky? However, he still had to top up. Right Coiling Tiger wasn't afraid of Lin Yi making conditions. He was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't make any conditions. As long as he made a condition, Right Coiling Tiger would try his best to satisfy it. He directly asked the yellow hair to top up 1 million for Lin Yi's phone number. Lin Yi was brewing medicine when his cell phone's text message prompt sounded. Lin Yi thought that Right Coiling Tiger didn't call and started to use his cell phone to harass him. However, when he opened his cell phone, he was stunned. The text message said, Dear user, the payment is successful. The amount paid this time is 1 million. What? He paid 1 million in phone bill? Lin Yi's eyes widened as he looked at the number on the cell phone. Could it be that the system sent the wrong number? Just as he was wondering, Right Coiling Tiger's call came in again. Right Coiling Tiger, what else do you want? Asked Lin Yi helplessly. Lin Yi, I topped up 1 million for your phone bill. You have to keep your word. You should send me the information, right? Asked Right Coiling Tiger. Did you pay the phone bill for me? Lin Yi broke into a sweat. He was just joking perfunctorily with Right Coiling Tiger. He didn't expect the kid to take it seriously. I'm just joking with you. I'm not joking. Quickly send me the information. If you don't give it to me, I'll keep the evidence of the payment. When the time comes, I'll tell Boss Bai that you cheated a classmate. Right Coiling Tiger said anxiously. All right. Is the information from before right? I'll get Jing Jing to send you another copy. However, Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Right Coiling Tiger already had a copy. Why did he spend 1 million to buy another? Did this person have too much money and nowhere to spend it? Hence, he said, where's the information from before? The information from before. I deleted it by mistake. Right Coiling Tiger was embarrassed to say that he had been robbed, so he could only say that he had deleted it by mistake. Oh. Lin Yi didn't ask further. He thought that this Right Coiling Tiger was really despicable. 1 million was gone just like that. After hanging up the phone, Lin Yi called Han Jingjing to send another copy to Right Coiling Tiger. After receiving the email, Right Coiling Tiger finally let out a sigh of relief. The road to happiness was strewn with setbacks. Right Coiling Tiger unlocked his phone and was about to receive the email when his face suddenly changed. He cursed, "What the heck? It's an email, an email. It's not a text." Right Coiling Tiger realized that in the cloud mailbox, there was still the email from Han Jingjing. He stumbled and almost fell to the ground. Why didn't he think of this before? His IQ was really low. $1 million was gone just like that. The worst part was that he had agreed to Zhao Qibing's ridiculous request to get Lin Yi to break his leg. Right Coiling Tiger still didn't know how this request could be fulfilled. If he begged Lin Yi, he might not have to give Lin Yi anything good. That guy was like a vampire. He wouldn't release the eagle until he saw the rabbit. But who asked him to ask for his help? Right Coiling Tiger sighed. He got into the car and headed towards the hidden new house with the yellow-haired and purple-haired men. Originally, he wanted to go home and ask his grandpa for this $1 million, but now he didn't dare to mention it. It was too stupid. Right Coiling Tiger could only grit his teeth and bear it with his pocket money. Chapter 2583. Yu Coiling Tiger finally breathed a sigh of relief. Old Master Yu waved his hand and gave Yu Coiling Tiger a bonus of 20 million yuan. This made Yu Coiling Tiger very happy. It was equivalent to earning 19 million yuan without any losses. Lin Yi didn't know what Panhu Right was thinking, charging him $1 million for no reason at all just so he could get the information again. Was there something wrong with him? Xinyan, on the other hand, fell into a deep sleep after drinking the soup Lin Yi brewed. Lin Yi, on the other hand, held her in his arms and started practicing. At this rate, reaching the second stage of the art of dragon mastery was only a matter of time. Lin Yi was very much looking forward to the third time the stone door would open. Who knew what good stuff would be in there? What kind of unexpected benefits would the third stage of the art of dragon mastery bring him? The second stage had already benefited Lin Yi a lot. Compared to the first stage of the art of dragon mastery, not only did it speed up the healing process and increase the strength of others, but more importantly, it allowed him to practice an all-purpose technique. This all-purpose technique had basically become Lin Yi's life-saving trump card. It was even easier to use than Qi bombs. Qi bombs were too dangerous, and it was a move that killed 1,000 enemies while sacrificing 800. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Lin Yi wouldn't use it. But a combo skill was different. The seventh form, Fire 8 Trigrams Palm, used up most of Lin Yi's energy, but it was better than getting hurt. As for breaking through to the late stage of Earth class, Lin Yi hadn't found the right opportunity yet. He felt like he was missing something. Maybe he'd leveled up too fast recently, and he'd finally reached a bottleneck. In actuality, Lin Yi really wanted to have a battle of life and death. Most of the time, a breakthrough could only be found in battle. Lin Yi found most of his opportunities in battle, and he rarely broke through naturally. However, fighting was something that could only be discovered by luck. For example, strategist Zhuge was an early-phase Sky-class master. If Lin Yi didn't kill him in one move and fight him slowly, Lin Yi would definitely lose in the end. Lin Yi only had the seventh form of Fire 8 Trigrams Palm to rely on. If Zhuge managed to dodge or defend, then it'd be Lin Yi's nightmare. And if Lin Yi didn't use the seventh form of Fire 8 Trigrams Palm, he wouldn't be Zhuge's opponent. So, Lin Yi could only choose to kill Zhuge quickly instead of looking for an opportunity to level up. That was purely looking for trouble. The night passed peacefully, and Lin Yi received a call from Da Fengbro the next morning. Lin Yi wasn't too surprised, it was all within his expectations. He only told Da Fengbro to try to build a good relationship with the people in the headquarters. It would be best if he could find out the location of the base, but if he couldn't, he had to climb up to the headquarters as soon as possible and take charge of more things. He'd be able to get in touch with some of the secrets of the base. Originally, after this call, Lin Yi thought he could go to school in peace, but he didn't expect to see Zhu Larodie at the entrance of the villa. "Mr. Lin." Zhu Larodie walked over carefully and said respectfully, "Zhu Larodie? Why are you here? Why aren't you by Chen Shi's side? Why are you here?" Lin Yi was a bit confused. "Ahem. It's like this. Master Bing asked me to come back to do something, so I came to visit my brother." Zhu Larodie hesitated and looked at Lin Yi. "Mr. Lin, you see, The thing you said before? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. It's about treating my brother. Zhu Larodie was shocked. He thought that Lin Yi wouldn't deny it, right? Oh, you're talking about that. Lin Yi suddenly understood. If you have something to say, just say it. Why are you talking in riddles? You said that I can treat Zhu Laro's injury at any time, but there's a problem. How are you going to tell the hidden Zhao family after I treat him? Zhu Larodie's face changed. Yeah, if Zhu Laro's injury suddenly healed, then what would he say? One had to know that the second Zhu brother's injuries weren't lighter than Elder Bai's, and the only person in the world who could heal him was Lin Yi. Then, there was the Sky Elixir sect's third-level Great Recovery Pill, but with the Hidden House Zhao's strength, it wasn't something they could get their hands on, let alone Boss Zhu. If Zhu Laro's injury suddenly healed, then the hidden Zhao family wouldn't be suspicious. If they asked, Zhu Larodie really wouldn't know what to say. So, I can treat him, but you have to think of a perfect excuse. If you say I treated him, then your identity will be exposed, Lin Yi said. I was too impatient. I didn't think of this. Zhu Larodie smiled bitterly. Then I'll bring my brother back and wait for a suitable excuse. Oh. You brought Zhu Laro here? Lin Yi paused. Yeah, he's in the car outside. Zhu Larodie said. I see. Lin Yi didn't want him to go back now that Zhu Laro was here. He was in a dilemma when Yushu spoke up. Shield bro, that's easy. Shu has a good idea. Yushu heard the conversation between Lin Yi and Zhu Larodie. She didn't know why Zhu Larodie turned traitor, but as long as he was Lin Yi's follower now, Yushu should help him out. Oh. Miss Chen, what idea do you have? If it really works, then you'll be my brother's savior, Zhu Larodie said eagerly as he looked at Yushu. What miss? That sounds bad. Call me the universe's super invincible cute genius prophecy secret detective spy Shu 007, Yushu said. Alright, then. Universe's super invincible cute genius prophecy secret detective spy Shu 007, what idea do you have? Zhu Larodie was speechless as he repeated the long name. He really would have forgotten it if he didn't have a good memory. What the fuck? Zhu Larodie wiped the cold sweat off his forehead after repeating the name. Heh. Tell Shield bro to treat your brother's injury first, but don't tell anyone when we get back. Keep acting like he's injured, Yushu said. That's easy. As long as he doesn't use his practitioner's arts, no one can tell how strong he is. But you can't hide it forever, can you? Zhu Larodie asked curiously. Chapter 2584. What a trap. Both Lin Yi and Boss Zhu's mouths twitched. Yushu's move was too much of a scam, scamming people to death. Whoever bumped into her would be unlucky, Isn't that a bit too much? Boss Zhu asked after a while. Haven't you heard of this saying? You're already a traitor, so why do you care? Yushu said as she looked at Boss Zhu in disdain. You're right. Boss Zhu nodded after some hesitation. Alright, it's decided then, but Yarowang won't suspect anything, right? Who the hell is Yarowang? How can he be as good as Shield Bro? He can't even deal with a bunch of lightning rods, he's just too weak compared to Shield Bro. I think he should change his name to Lightning Rod King, Yushu said. That's good. Boss Zhu nodded. And so, Meng Yaro, Yushu, Xinyan, Han Jingjing, and Han Xiaochao went to school first, while Lin Yi stayed at home to treat Zhu's second. When Zhu's second got off the car, Lin Yi glanced at him, shocked. Once upon a time, he'd seen Zhu's second in high spirits, but now, he looked like an old man with one foot in the grave, even older than Boss Zhu. It was evident that he hadn't been having a good time recently, but it was unavoidable. He used to be a practitioner, and his position in the hidden house was high. But now, he was just a normal cripple, and it was already good enough that the hidden house gave him a place to live. This was also for Boss Zhu's sake, but it was impossible for them to respect him and care for him like they usually did. Even Zhao Qibing, who said that he would treat Zhu's second, stopped trying to recruit him after he became the heir. He didn't even look at him, and it had been a long time since he contacted Boss Zhu. After all, the eldest Zhu's job was to keep an eye on Chen Shi, and he couldn't stay by Qibing's side all day. The second Zhu, on the other hand, was a cripple, and Chibing didn't have the time to take care of him. It could be said that the Zhu brothers had been forgotten for a long time. This was why old Zhu's second was so angry. His injury was all because of Zhao Chibing, and Zhao Chibing wanted to help him find a way to recover. He was very touched and dragged boss Zhu to join Zhao Chibing. But ever since Zhao Chibing officially joined the hidden house and his identity changed, he didn't care about the second Zhu anymore. He didn't mention anything about healing the second Zhu anymore, instead saying that he wanted to heal Elder Bai. How could Zhu Laroa not be angry? Old Zhu's second understood that Zhao Chibing was just a hypocrite, trying to recruit the two brothers to fight against Zhao Chikuan. Now that Zhao Chibing was done for, he was about to die in the Sky Elixir Sects test. Zhao Chibing didn't care at all. He didn't need to recruit anyone, and the second Zhu was selectively forgotten. This was also the reason why boss Zhu chose to rely on Lin Yi. The two of them were very loyal to Zhao Chibing, but what did they get in return? Nothing compared to an enemy who cared about them. They knew that Lin Yi was probably using them, but Lin Yi was using them openly and clearly. It was like a business deal, and so the second Zhu was leaning towards Lin Yi. But, after seeing the enemy who was grinding his teeth, old Zhu's second felt very awkward. He didn't dare raise his head to look at Lin Yi. Old Zhu, what are you doing? Greet Mr. Lin. Boss Zhu frowned and secretly kicked old Zhu's second. Greet Mr. Lin. Old Zhu didn't have a choice. He had no choice but to raise his head. I've offended you in the past. I hope Mr. Lin doesn't take it to heart. Old Zhu, what are you talking about? Boss Zhu was disappointed. Why did he have to say all this? The fact that Lin Yi had asked him to heal meant that he didn't care about what had happened in the past, but Lin Yi was still nagging. That's right, we used to work for different masters. You guys were Zhao Chibing's men, working for him, so we were enemies. But now, your brother is my man, and if you work for me in the future, we'll be on the same side. Lin Yi nodded. Since we're on the same side, I can promise that no matter how serious your injuries are, as long as you're still breathing, I'll do my best to heal you. As for your future training, just leave it to me. Boss Zhu and I are only Earth-class experts at the moment, so I can't help him. I can only help him after I advance to Sky class, but I can help you advance to the early stage of Earth class. Mr. Lin, you're such a good person. I, old Zhu second, don't know how to talk, but I know that you're not lying. You're a man of your words. I also know that you're just using us, but we'll prove to you that we're not any weaker than your underlings. Old Zhu's second said sincerely. Lin Yi waved his hand. Let's not talk about this, let's go heal first. In actuality, Lin Yi's promise to the Zhu brothers was nothing to him, but he said it in such a serious manner, using this kind of manipulative method. It was a smart move on Lin Yi's part. If he did it like how Zhao Chibing did, then the Zhu brothers wouldn't believe him. But when Lin Yi said the benefits in detail, the Zhu brothers couldn't help but be tempted. The conditions were too good, and even though they knew that Lin Yi was using them, they couldn't reject it. Lin Yi's way of playing hard to get made them want to become Lin Yi's underlings even more. From their point of view, there were so many benefits just from being used. If they became Lin Yi's underling, wouldn't there be even more benefits? Look at Wu Chentian, Han Xiaopa, and the others. Even now, old Zhao didn't dare kill Chikuan. He didn't have the heart to do it before, but now that Elder Bai had fallen, he wanted to get rid of Chikuan as soon as possible. Chikuan was Lin Yi's underling, and dying in the Sky Elixir Sects test had nothing to do with the hidden house Zhao, but if he died in old Zhao's hands, then he'd be in big trouble. Chapter 2585. A magical potion. Old Master, I have something important to report. Boss Zhu said carefully. What is it? Say it. Old man Zhao's face softened and waved his hand, signaling Boss Zhu to continue. It's like this. Didn't my second brother's meridians get damaged too? When I was in Songshan City, I asked around about how to heal meridians, and when I was scavenging, I met a heaven-class master. Boss Zhu said. What? Heaven-class master? Old man Zhao didn't care at first, but when he heard Boss Zhu say heaven-class master, he stood up. Are you kidding me? How can there be so many heaven-class masters? How could I just meet one when I was scavenging? Old master, how can I joke about this? Boss Zhu smiled bitterly. I can't see through the heaven-class master's strength, But it should be at the peak of the late stage of heaven class, fuck. How is that possible? Old man Zhao couldn't help but curse. Those are existences on the level of sect masters and elders in the ancient times. How can they casually enter and exit the secular world? Even if they came to do something, you wouldn't meet them, right? Boss Zhu, you're just trying to have fun with me, right? Old master, I wouldn't dare. That old man seems to have some mental problems. Although he's strong, he's very silly, like an old madman. Boss Zhu said, from what I see, he must have gone mad from his cultivation. After old Master Zhao heard it, he nodded. If it was a madman, then it was possible. Moreover, it made sense to meet him when he was scavenging. Is this the big thing you want to talk about? Even if it's a heaven-class master, it has nothing to do with our hidden Zhao family, right? And he's a madman, it's hard to recruit this kind of person. Patriarch, I'm not talking about that. I was asking that crazy heaven-rank old man about my younger brother's injuries. He gave me a potion called the Filter of Barrier Breaking. As the name implies, it can be used to break through barriers. After taking it, not only can it heal the internal injuries, but it can also allow one to break through the barrier and become a higher-level expert. Boss Zhu said with a solemn expression. Really? Old man Zhao's eyes widened. This was the first time he had heard of such a potion, but since it was concocted by a heaven stage expert, it shouldn't be fake. It was just that the heaven stage expert was an old madman. Would there be a problem? He's telling the truth. I don't know if it's true or not, but I remember that Elder Bai is like my brother, with damaged meridians, so I asked him to make 2 portions. Boss Zhu said carefully. A heaven stage expert is so obedient. Old Master Zhao looked at Boss Zhu suspiciously. Boss Zhu, why did you ask him to do it? This. Actually, I didn't think that he was a heaven stage expert. Seeing that he was wearing tattered clothes and was starving to death on the ground, I thought that he was a tramp. Seeing that we are both scavengers, I bought him a few steamed buns. In the end, he was extremely grateful to me after eating them. If he wants to repay me, he can help me do something. Boss Zhu continued according to Yushu's story. At the time, I was thinking, what can a tramp like you help me with? But after he ate, he suddenly revealed his heaven stage strength and scared me. So I told him what was bothering me, and he agreed without hesitation. You know that he has mental problems, so he's probably easier to talk to. This morning, I just got back to Songshan, and that old crazy tramp gave me the potion. So I came back as soon as I could. So that's how it is. Old Master Zhao nodded. Boss Zhu's words made him put down his doubts. Boss Zhu's identity was a scavenger, so he had to act like a scavenger as much as possible. It was reasonable for him to occasionally help his peers who were about to die. What about the senior? He finished the concoction, told me how to use it and what to pay attention to, and left. Old master, you know that he's a sky rank master, I'm just an earth rank master, how could I force him to stay? Boss Zhu said helplessly. That's true. Old Zhao said it'd be weird if Boss Zhu had brought a sky class back. He thought about it. Then what about the potion? What did that elder tell you? This potion looks good, but it has a fatal flaw. Boss Zhu said, if the person who uses it doesn't succeed, they'll explode and bleed from all 7 orifices. If they succeed, then everything's fine. What? There's a chance of success. Old Zhao was thinking that Elder Bai's recovery was a blessing for House Zhao, but before he could celebrate, Boss Zhu threw a bucket of cold water at him, calming him down quite a bit. His eyes sharpened as he looked at Boss Zhu. How come I've never heard of this potion before? How can someone die if they don't have any effect? Yeah, I'm curious too. Boss Zhu wasn't scared at all, that's why I didn't just give it to my brother, and came to you first. I'm confused as well, why is this potion so strange? Ian, you did well. Old Zhao nodded. Where's the potion? Here. Boss Zhu carefully took out 2 packets of potion and put them on the table. Elder Mion, go find the Medicine King. Old man Zhao ordered outside the door. Yes. Elder Mion responded and quickly went to find Yarowang. Not long after, he and Zhao Yarowang entered Grandfather Zhao's room. Greetings, old master. Yarowang didn't know why old Zhao called him here, so he asked carefully, you were looking for me? Yarowang, Look at what this potion is. Old Zhao pointed at the 2 packets and explained, I heard that this potion is called the filter of barrier breaking. As he spoke, Old Master Zhao explained the effects and side effects of the medicine once more. After Zhao Yarowang heard this, his expression became very interesting. This was the first time he had heard of such a thing. This thing wasn't a pill, it was just a potion. However, it had such a miraculous effect. He had never heard of such a thing before. But this was something made by a heaven-ranked expert. He didn't dare to look down on it. He carefully took a clean bowl and opened the packet of potion. He poured out the contents and carefully examined it. Chapter 2586. It's effective. Yawang wanted to increase his strength and break through the armband, but this potion was too mysterious. There was a chance of death, and so he'd rather not try it. His meridians weren't severed, and it wasn't worth the risk. Elder Zhao, naturally, knew what Yarowang was thinking. He couldn't tell what the potion was, so he hesitated. After a while, his eyes brightened, and he turned to Zhu Boss. Zhu Boss, you asked for this potion to help your brother recover, right? Elder Zhao asked. Yes, Zhu Boss answered honestly. All right, if that's the case, then let him use it. Old Zhao's face didn't change. Normally, such an important potion should be given to the family, one for Elder Bai and the other for safekeeping. But since you're the one who found it, I can't disappoint my men, so I'll give you one back. Give it to him as soon as possible. Zhu Boss's face changed, turning red. He had expected this, and everything was going according to Yushu's plan. But hearing Elder Zhao say this shamelessly, Zhu Boss was still furious. The 2 brothers had been working for the hidden Zhao family all these years. Even if they didn't have any merits, they had still worked hard. However, not only did Old Master Zhao let the second brother Zhu test the medicine, he also shamelessly said that the 2 medicines would belong to the family, and he even gave one to the eldest brother Zhu. Could it be that if the potion didn't have side effects, Elder Zhao wouldn't even give him one? With that thought, Zhu Boss felt sorrowful. It seemed like joining Lin Yi was too smart. Serving these 2 Zhaos wouldn't end well. Even a dog should have dignity. What, Zhu Boss? You don't want to? If you don't want to, I'll just find a random disciple of House Zhao and let him use it. But then, Zhu Boss won't get a share. Elder Zhao saw that Zhu Boss wasn't willing, so he threatened. It wasn't that he didn't want to find a disciple to try, but there were only 2 potions, and after trying one, who would he give the other one to? Should he give it to Elder Zhu or Elder Bai? Logically speaking, it should be given to the second Zhu, since he was the one who asked for it, and he didn't keep it for himself. He reported it to the family first, but for the family's benefit, Elder Bai breaking through was more beneficial. And so old Zhao had no choice but to let the second Zhu be the test subject. Yushu had already set up their psychology, and everything was going according to plan. I am willing. Boss Zhu took a deep breath and nodded. Originally, I asked for this potion for my second brother so that he could recover his meridians. Since he is already like this, it's better to let him have a try with the mentality of success or death instead of wasting his time like this. Well, it's good that you think that way. Old Man Zhao nodded in satisfaction and said, Boss Zhu, why don't you invite your brother over? Okay, I'll bring him over now. Boss Zhu nodded and said quickly, Elder Mion, bring Elder Bai here too. Old Zhao turned to Elder Mion. Yes, head. Elder Mion quickly nodded, but he felt a little sour inside. These days, because of Elder Bai's injury, he had replaced Elder Bai's position in the family, becoming one of the closest people to old Zhao. If Elder Bai came back, what would he do? He didn't want to lose the position that he had worked so hard to get. But he couldn't go against old Zhao's wishes. He could only invite Elder Bai over, but as soon as he left, he thought it through. Yes, Elder Bai had recovered, but he would also break through to Sky Class. At that time, would Sky Class still be able to serve old Zhao like before? Clearly, it was impossible. Since he had reached Heaven Stage, he would definitely want to continue cultivating. Even Old Man Zhao would not let him do these menial chores. When the time came, these matters would still fall onto old Mion's shoulders. Thinking about this, Elder Mion was happy. Soon, the second Zhu and Elder Bai came. Both of them came in wheelchairs. Although the second Zhu could walk, he didn't want to. Everyone understood that, going from a practitioner to a cripple, anyone would be depressed. Elder Bai was even more so. Although he had woken up, his eyes were sunken. He looked like someone who hadn't rested for many days. His face was yellow and skinny, and he didn't have any energy. But, when he heard that there was medicine that could help him recover, his eyes shone with a strange light. Although second brother Zhu was a little happy, he knew that he was a tester, so his eyes still flashed with nervousness and worry from time to time. These subtle expressions were also noticed by Grandpa Zhao. Although he didn't suspect anything, he felt more relieved after seeing these subtle expressions. Second brother Zhu, the medicine is here. This is the medicine your brother painstakingly obtained. I hope you won't waste it. As Grandfather Zhao spoke, he had Elder Mion pass one of the bowls of medicine to second brother Zhu. Second brother Zhu took a deep breath and took the bowl with a determined look in his eyes. Then, he raised the bowl and drank all the potion in one gulp. You! The second Zhu's hand suddenly shook, and the bowl fell to the ground, shattering. His face turned red. Although he was prepared for this, and knew that the medicine he drank would be fine, the pain still made him take a deep breath. The second Zhu's pained expression fell into everyone's eyes. Everyone had different expressions. The eldest Zhu was very worried, but old Zhao, Yarrow Wang, Elder Mion, and Elder Bai were looking forward to it. The second Zhu was in pain, but they knew that repairing his meridians would be painful, and breaking through the barrier would be difficult. This was normal. As long as he didn't die, and could hold on, then it was half a success. Soon, white steam came out of the second Zhu's head, and his face became twisted. He panted heavily, and the huff-huff-huff didn't stop. It was as painful as one could imagine.